Okay, there we go. There we go. That's the second time today we've had no audio here. All right, I was just saying what a mess today is, huh? They say good things come to those who wait. And in this case, we're talking about waiting on Hotlap Humpday or waiting on Shaun's audio to turn on or get verified. Thank you, everybody, for pointing that out. Anyway, Hotlap Humpday. It's not Humpday. It's Thursday. So the reason for this is Ricmotech and Extreme Motorsports. They have both been working with the real life Road to Indy competition. And so with that, it's created a little bit of interference in terms of they conflict with our timing. So they had to postpone Hotlap Humpday, which is really unfortunate. It's unfortunate in that we expected on Wednesday. But here we are on Thursday. And the reason I'm also doing some stalling is we're waiting on the room to get open. So there's a little problem getting the room launched. So we are waiting on the room. Elvis, I will have that password for you in just a moment. We are just making sure. Oh, it looks like it is open. It looks like the room is open. Let's make sure. Oh, there it is. Did you see it? Did you see it? Can you see that small? So we are in the Dallara P217. And this is the, here, let me go to spotter mode with this one. I'm trying to get all my computers in the room. Oh, apparently I need some updates on this computer. And we're at the legacy version of Daytona. And let's see, we can join session, get this computer in there, and then we're going to try to get Robby. There we go. And I should turn on their mic. You can't hear them right now. Oh, shoot, I need to get that keyboard. Bear with me. Let's turn them on and welcome those guys. All right, let's see here. We're going to need this. All right, Kevin Ford, Robby Unser, maybe even Frank Rico. How you guys doing?
Very well, you?
Well, having a weird day where every time I go live, I don't have any mics turned on. And, you know, we're late on the room and we're late on the day. But beyond that, I am exceptional.
And Shaun, that's what it's all about, buddy. Great to see you, man. Great to be back.
There we go. I am now getting my Robby camera going. And I did not officially give out the password. However, those with really good eyes might have been able to read it on my computer. But I, Kevin, did not give out the password.
Well, then I will do the honors. The password to our February edition for 2021 is going to be Daytona 24. Daytona 24. That's right, Daytona 24. That'll get you into the Ricmotech Hotlap Humpday Challenge for February of this year. Come on out and join us. We have a very interesting combination tonight, as you'll see when you look into the hosted sessions there. We are driving, yes, the Dallara P217 tonight, the P2 at the old Daytona Road Course. So, yeah, this ought to be a lot of fun tonight.
I should turn on Crew Chief.
Let me double check something here. I have a feeling that the room may have gone up with the oval course. Let me double check.
I'm going to be fast.
I
am going to be really fast.
Yeah, right.
Radio check. This spotter can't help you if you crash.
I was expecting some long lap times. All right, I got my gloves on today. We're going super serious. Not messing around at all.
Okay.
Alright, I'm in the room. I probably could have told you.
Yeah, it's the road or oval.
Pit lane speed limit is 97 kilometers per hour. Exits clear and push.
Trying to get in.
I hear my sound. I'm going to have to turn off my sound.
Yeah, you're coming across your mic pretty loud, buddy.
Proceed safely.
Pretty loud.
And go.
Did you really?
You've got 3 laps to serve this penalty. What's your speed limit in the pits? Can you confirm you're okay?
Yeah,
Shaun,
much damage
we need to
with
pit
the
for repairs.
fixes.
We've had the black and orange flag. The pit exit looks clear.
Yep. I don't know what happened to the
That
top
looked pretty
right.
bad.
How
You
that
okay?
got so, but yeah, we'll sort that out. But we're gonna have to change rooms first because this is
Yep.
not the setup.
Yeah, new room should be up any second. I'm gonna go in there and advance that one.
So while you're sorting that out, I'll sort out my audio. Hey Kevin, I was just thinking, we're in fine form. My
Yeah.
My stream's a mess.
Oh gosh. Oh boy.
Yeah, all the things, nothing's in the right window.
Right. Oh goodness. Yeah, we'll get it straightened out. These things happen, you know. We'll get Zach up here in just a moment. We'll have a guest for this evening from Apex Racing Academy. Zach Campbell will be joining us here momentarily.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, great to have him with us this evening.
Yep.
Robby's audio may need to come up a little bit. He seems like he's coming in a little soft.
Too low.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to get, let's see here. I love how informal we do this, thankfully.
Need my keyboard again. Dang it.
I've learned some new little tricks in the new beta UI here. I'll share with you guys tonight in a minute.
I hate that thing.
Joe, was it do you know if it was the game sound or was it hearing it through my microphone? Because I had speakers going in my room. Hey, Alex, how you doing? All right, now we can crop this properly.
Are you a admin in that room, Shaun? You should be. Can you check that, see if it...
What do you want me to do?
Does it show you as an admin in that session? The first session, or did you already get out?
I'm still in here, and looks like yes, I am, I think.
Okay. See if you can advance the room.
Advanced session?
Yeah, the first one, yep.
Okay, just did.
Okay, great. That should have advanced it to the race. I'm going to turn my mic down just a...
I don't know when I changed this camera. It's kind of weird. So weird. I think we got it, though. I think that's good. Oh, no. One more little adjustment.
Frank, do
All
you
right,
have a
guys,
copy? Are you with
We will
us?
have this room
I am
up and
here.
All right,
running in a moment.
fantastic. Frank, I think in order for you to join us, you're going to have to buy that lovely car.
Yes, I am.
There we
That's
go.
right.
Yeah, it's going to race now, Kevin.
Oh, it is? Okay, great. All right, so that'll drop that room so everybody can peek out the new Daytona room here tonight with that P2 that we're going to be dancing around the beautiful road course at Daytona. We have mostly cloudy skies planned for the afternoon as well. They planned, if I'm someone more important than I am. That nice controlling the weather, Shaun? Isn't that a fun little ego to have?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can make the weather what I want.
Get yourself a doctor complex.
Yeah, right.
Okay, let's see. Getting both of these cleared and out of the room. Select another session. That's what we want. All right, forgive us, everybody. We'll get this up and running in just a moment here. Do apologize.
Yeah, we do, absolutely. All right, we're getting it here.
Makes me feel good. I screw up my hosting rooms all the time to the point that my entire community kind of plays.
They just
like,
expect it.
Yeah, well, like when we go in the room, everyone's like, "All right, let's see what Shaun screwed up this time."
Right.
So I maybe I'm rubbing off on you.
Yeah, I think you are. Yep. Yep, no doubt. All right.
Elvis, we got that all sorted. I think when we get back in the room, it'll all look good. I hope. Oh, I noticed my iRacing was on full.
So I'm actually getting text on screen here. Robby, you in the session yet?
Yeah, no,
Okay.
I don't see it yet.
Yeah, it should be up.
There it is. All right, now which one is it?
Rico. I'm guessing it's the one that started at 22.
Which one is it?
Road Course. Mine is the second one, and it shows start time at 3:22.
Where do you see that track?
You can type it in the search box at the top under hosted races. Just type right there Daytona, and it'll bring up all the Daytona rooms.
Yeah, but I've got it. I got the two. I just don't know how to tell which one is.
Ah, okay. So yeah, and looking
Wait,
at them,
Road
you in
Course,
the
there
new
you go.
beta.
All right.
Yeah. So the one, it's the one that
No.
says Road Course. Yeah.
I won't touch that thing unless I have to. Beta.
All right, there we go. Jumping in. Now I gotta get this.
There we go.
On me, and then I can put my keyboard away. I think. Somebody joined with a 7,800i rating.
What? Is that a lot?
That's that's
yeah.
like most people would say like 3,000 or 4,000 is medium high.
So that's probably Zach.
Is he that good? Does he have a pro license?
Probably.
Yeah.
He's one of
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
guys
Zach
that-
Zach
yeah.
is quite good. Yeah.
Well, this hardly seems fair.
Yes, he is a pro driver. He is a pro world-class driver. Yes.
So he'll be disqualified from winning tonight.
Yes, exactly.
It
Yes,
does-
he will be.
But his
I
name
don't
will
think
still
he
be on the
plans to be.
leaderboard, right?
Sure, it will. That's true.
Hey.
That's true.
That's discrimination, man. We gotta
That's
be.
right.
Yeah, there's no disqualifying that.
I mean, you can't disqualify somebody for talent.
Right.
Or at least we're not there yet. We're headed there.
I just wonder, man.
That's great.
What kind of appearance fee did that guy get? Show up with the schleps.
That's great. All right, so we got everything up and running here. It looks like we're.
All
We
right.
sold them you.
I'm getting logged in here.
All right, I think. Yeah, that is what happened to my iRacing.
Yeah, we have
I
quite a
see
few
it
drivers
now.
that are in already. Great to see,
It
man.
took me
Cameron Martino's in already. Yeah, this is great.
Hi,
Times
Ken.
these guys are laying down here. 132 is the goal.
That's a good lap time.
All right.
I believe it is.
Oh, hey,
That
Kevin.
is the one. Yes, sir.
Isn't there a setup for this thing that you got last night?
Yes, let us know when you've made it.
Yeah, so let me grab Zach here. Let me stand by.
User left your channel.
Come on. Between the lines. There we go. All right, now if we vey. So if it's there and there, now let's do this. And look at that, it fits like a glove. There we go. Okay. Now, all right, I think we finally getting there, people. I am sorry for the delay. We are now going to start spotting, and we are going to put it on TV camera for Robby. Oh, not Frank Rico. Robby Unser. There we go. And we're going to go to TV 2. How did my scenic camera get ahead? That's weird. I don't know how the hell that happened, but we're not going to worry about that right now. And I will need this keyboard somewhat handy to change things if we need. So we'll go like that. All right, did you guys catch the password? Did you see it? Did you hear it? Did you feel it? The password is Daytona 24. There are 2 rooms hosted by Frank Rico. Be careful when you're joining one. Look for the one. Look at the track. That's the big difference. The track is Daytona Road Course Legacy. And we are going to start off with what setup are we going to start with here until Kevin comes through. Let's see what we have in our old pile of setups. Oh, no shared. My setups. Do we have anything worthy? I don't think a Nürburgring setup would be the right one. I don't know what any of these are from. Alright, we're just going to go back to the basics, and we're going to go with iRacing setups. And, oh look, they have a Daytona Road setup. How convenient is that?
What I did.
Yeah, that's where we're starting for sure. Okay, so.
All right. Yes. Tell us, Shaun, what are you waiting on? Because I have somebody to bring in here with us here, Mom.
Okay.
If you're ready for that.
Oh, here, I want to switch Robby to cockpit view. I am about to pull out on track, which means you can have at it, my friend.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's drag Mr. Zach Campbell in here.
User was moved to your channel.
All right. Joining us tonight.
Pit lane speed limit is 88 kilometers per hour.
Few laps, just a few, I would say, on the iRacing simulator.
Exit's clear.
Zach
Stay behind
Campbell,
the white line. Okay, Shaun.
from,
We've got
the Apex Racing Academy.
250
And Zach,
laps to get
you've
the job done.
had, quite a history here on iRacing, and have had quite a few very substantial accomplishments, if you will, recent. And you also are a driver in the Pro iRacing Porsche E-Series Cup, correct?
That'd be correct. Yeah, absolutely. I've had quite a few years experience for my age. Yeah, it's been a little bit kind of a whirlwind over the last year with how big sim racing's gotten, and just having the opportunity to drive for especially the Ray Hollander and Lanigan guys in the Porsche Esports Super Cup has been something I'll never forget. It's been probably some of the most fun sim racing I've ever had in my life, and it's it's just
The leader has just done a
Yeah,
138.
I bet. I mean, you know, when that ball starts to roll, it moves quick, doesn't it? And things fly at you. And I'm sure you've had a lot of incredible experiences that you could probably write a book about already, just in this short time of all these great accomplishments you've had. And of course, joining us here this evening, as always, Robby Unser. So Zach, introduce you to Robby.
How are you?
I'm doing just fine. How about yourself?
Awesome. Very well, very well. Thanks for being here.
Not worries.
So Robby, I'm sure you have a few questions for Zach in regards to his career and his success on the simulator.
Blue flag.
And driving for Ray Hall.
Careful, car on your left. All clear on the
Lanigan
left.
as well. And so, Zach, tell us a little bit about how your career started in sim racing, because I'm sure this just didn't all happen overnight.
Yeah, so I actually started on iRacing when I was,
How old are you now?
I'm 18 right now.
Okay.
So it's been about 6-7 years.
You're old. I gotcha.
Yeah, well, I'm basically ancient in sim racing ages.
The leader has just done a
Or at least
135.
that's what I keep getting told. When I see guys like Charlie Collins.
How's that volume now, Alex?
16.
Car's still too loud.
It's something, but yeah, no, I actually got started off, and like any kid who grew up in the mid-2000s, you inevitably became a NASCAR fan, and so especially in the South, and you kind of got stuck into the whole NASCAR deal, and that's really what I started iRacing on, was doing all the NASCAR stuff and really enjoying that. And kind of got there and did that up until about 2017, 2018. I know I was on a team with a lot of the guys in the eNASCAR Coca-Cola series, like Nathan Lyon, Stephen Wilson, Graham Bolin, Kane Cook, Michael Guest. They were all my teammates at the time, and so that was a really, really fun time. And eventually, I kind of got almost fed up with it. I
Sector 1 time is good.
From the point when I was a kid, I was always into IndyCar racing. And so I was always just kind of all over that, but I always stuck to the stock car stuff in the sim because it's what I knew.
Right.
And eventually when the Dallara R18 came out for the sim, that's when I was like, okay, I'm just going to fully commit to just doing road now. Because I wasn't quite having the fun that I used to on oval, and so I just fully committed to doing IndyCar stuff, and then I did about 6 months of that, and then, you know, Apex, who's one of
The leader's just done a
one of the
135.53. Your exit is clear. Watch the white line.
the only people who could really challenge Coanda back in those days in the F1
Sure.
World Championship. You know, they came to me and were like, you know, really like what you're doing, and I was friends with one of the drivers, Kevin Ellis Jr., and he brought me up to Alex, and you know, and everything kind of snowballed from there. And so at that point I started doing stuff for Apex and really started kind of getting into the sports car events more than anything, and especially as PES came in to replace the F1 World Championship, we got
The leader's
into,
just done a
more into sports
135.00.
cars and things, and so I started off, my first full year was 2019, you know, ended the year finishing on the podium at Petit Le Mans in the top split, which is really good. Our sister car actually ended up winning that race, and
Nice.
then went to Sebring last March, and then finished second, and then went to the Indy 500, which is like my first love, immediately after that, and finished fifth also for Ray Hall Millennium. So
And this is an esport, so it's on the pro, basically, for the sim stuff, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay,
so
cool.
it's all kind of with the best of the best. And then last year, I really kind of took a commitment. And so once COVID hit and sim racing became a little bigger, and I could get hooked up with the Ray Hall guys, I decided to just kind of fully commit to doing sim racing alongside school, of course.
Of course.
And I really kind of delved fully into it, and yeah, and at that point, that's when I decided, you know what, I really want to go for the Porsche Esports Super Cup and become a competitor in that. And so I upgraded all my sim stuff. So I was running on last year I was running on about a 5-year-old computer with a Logitech G29 and a single monitor.
Right.
And so that's what I'd finished, you know, up front at Sebring and Petit and Indy with. And eventually I was like, you know what, I really want to kind of go for this, and so I just upgraded everything. So I got a rig custom built by Wyatt Gooden, who did a fantastic job with it. Now I'm running Hoistingfeld sprint pedals, VRS Direct Force Pro wheel, with a Sim Racing Machines USB converted rim, and triples everything that you could possibly want. I basically just committed to it fully, and it ended up working out. So at the end of the last year, they ran the Pro Series, and I think I ended up finishing in the top half of the guys who wanted to go ahead and qualify in.
Right.
And it's been great being a part of the Porsche Tag Heuer Esports Super Cup. It's been one of those things that's just really been kind of the most fun I've ever had. Sim racing. First race started off, finished 4th at Interlagos, and yeah, it's just kind of been a whirlwind from there for the first 4 rounds of the season.
Cool, and so that's an IndyCar now? Is that correct?
No. So that's still in the Porsche 911 Cup car.
Porsche 911, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, and I drive for the Ray Hall Letterman Lanigan team because they wanted to really kind of just commit to esports fully, and it's been fantastic working with them from Indy last year to a couple of the BMW 120 events last year to now in this series. They've been really supportive of esports and sim racing, and really trying to promote it, and it's been fantastic.
It's really a thing now, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely, and with how COVID went, it seemed like sim racing was the only place that was great to be in. Because it certainly took off last year, and I know one other thing as well was for the I did last year is I worked really hard with a lot of the guys in the iRacing IndyCar Challenge, with guys like Jimmy Johnson and Scott McLaughlin, and eventually moved on to guys the RLL guys. I'm working with Takuma Graham and Spencer Piggott, and it's been and that was something that that was just kind of a wow moment.
Yeah,
when
sure.
it comes down to it. And it's just, yeah, it's one of those things that you never thought you could do, but sim racing made it possible.
Yeah, it's amazing the explosion that took place last year with sim racing, and of course now we're talking about young men like yourself that aspire to have a driving career and are seeking a professional career in sim racing. And you know, for most of our viewers out there watching, I'm sure are well aware of some of the growth and the opportunities that have come about, not only from a manufacturer's side, but from sponsors and even, you know, real team sponsors for some of the real race teams. It's amazing how all of that has intertwined itself, and now we see drivers like yourself having these opportunities come about. Are you finding that the commitment level, the balance of, you know, obviously school is still important to you, which is great, that needs to be an important baseline for someone your age, but at the same time, when these opportunities come about, you know, has it been a radical change in your practice style, your practice time, the amount of time in the car? I would imagine all of that is taking quite a leap.
Yeah, so one of the things that makes things easier is that since I'm a college student, I'm actually a mechanical engineering student at Georgia Tech, and the easiest thing in the world for practice is that my school can be 6 feet away on a laptop on a desk.
Yeah, that does help.
It's, you know, maybe sometimes it's a little more challenging than just going in person, but it certainly helps, just the sim racing side and the practice side. And it's a bit of a balance, and one of the things that I think in the past few years that has really come about has been this shift and this kind of evolution in the way that we practice and what we do for the World Championship events and such. Because probably 3 years ago, just about 2 years ago actually, in 2019, I think the baseline for most practicing was probably about 15 hours per round for the World Championship Series. And the biggest thing that shifted through COVID has been a lot of the guys going full-time. And so you'll see a lot of the Quay and the SimSport guys, a lot of the Red Bull guys, some of these bigger teams, you see them becoming full-time sim racers, so they have more time to dedicate, which
To the sport, sure.
yeah, and it's just shifted the playing field so much. So now instead of 15 hours being the baseline, most people are practicing 25 hours for these each round. And so I know I've been 30 to 40 for most of the season so far, and it's just about striking a balance between how you're practicing and how effectively you're practicing. Because it's one thing to just go in and run laps, but I know you'll see a lot of teams in the series, they'll go off on their own, but you see a lot of the top teams like your Coandas and your Redlines and your Apexes will go and do test races, simulate an entire event. We'll do maybe 5 or 6 of those before each race.
The track temperature's decreasing. It's now 23 Celsius.
And kind of discover what we can do about really digging into everything about a round, to where the point when you put us in a race with, you know, the 35 other cars that aren't on the team, we completely know what's going to happen and can predict everything about it. And so that's genuinely just been the biggest shift that we've seen. Is just that it's become a lot more of a time commitment, but it's also become a lot more fun in that way, in that you really kind of get down to the details and the nitty-gritty of what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. There's 2 things that you mentioned that I'd like to point out. Well, one was one that I mentioned, and I referred to it as a sport, and I think most sim drivers or sim competitors, whether they're hobbyists at it or that they're seeking, some further development and a possible, sim career. There is an element of physical side to this. For some of the viewers that may be watching that aren't into sim racing or that see what goes on, and we have webcams up and drivers driving on screen in a lot of our
only 2 more laps
broadcasts
of fuel.
now. The intensity of concentration, the element of keeping heart rate at an optimal level.
The leader has just done a 134.81.
Consequences on the track and a very calm state of mind, your reaction, your situation awareness, all of the things that come into play for a real driver in a real car. You guys deal with those very identical situations, racecraft and those sort of things. So when you say you guys go out and replicate events to train for these, this is something that
Sector 1 is
cannot be done for drivers in real life. So it really adds a whole different element of motorsports competition to these races.
Yeah, exactly, and it's something that's been kind of it's something that we've gotten on top of more in the last year than anything. And I know, for instance, it's just been as we've gotten more powerful wheel systems and such. In sim racing, especially, it's become loads more physical. I know. Just the force feedback levels we run. I know Sebastian Joe posted on Twitter a video of him just driving around Road Atlanta, and it's almost just breaking his 80/20 rig because of how much force feedback he is running through his wheel. And so we're running it as high as possible, just to feel as much as we can in the car, because that's...
All right, Sean, you've got about 4 laps of fuel left.
From 1st to 40th is separated by 7 tenths or 8 tenths. It's just about finding those hundreds, because hundreds can be jumping 10 cars. So
yeah, sure.
It's become immensely physical and really kind of, again, it's about shifting the game. And I know Sebastian, when he won the championship last year, he was working with a personal trainer for most of the year and doing workouts and really preparing in that way. And I know a few of our drivers do that as well.
Sebastian Loeb? Sorry.
Sebastian Job,
okay.
The Porsche Tag Warrior Esports Super Cup champ from last year.
Right.
And he has worked incredibly hard. He's one of the most hard-working guys in the entire series when it comes down to it.
You're welcome.
And
the leader has just done a 133.48.
And so it's been just, again, it's just been the evolution. Last year, one of the events...
Sector 2 is 0.7 off the pace.
That really kind of we instituted this practice format was the iRacing Indy 500 West. And so that event is probably the most preparation we have for any event.
And that's your whole team, right?
Yeah, so
you're on a pro team, correct? Okay, so
that's your quickest so far.
Do they dictate what sims
the
and
pace.
equipment you
That lap was a 135.57.
Some do, but I know for us, we're on Apex, we're completely open. We can run anything we want. We're not really forced to do events and such. It's such a fantastic team to work with because it's just encouraging you to enjoy sim racing, which is what I really like. And so an event
and that's at the Rahal Letterman or Apex aspect?
That's the Apex aspect.
Oh, okay.
And so we're never forced to do events. We're told you're going to run
Sector
this
1 is
event
quick.
on this day. We're encouraged to do the events we want and do the best we can, because at the end of the day, that's what really helps the team.
Sure. So you're not dictated to like your rig. That's not important. Or in other words, you're not all on the same rig. For example.
No, not at the moment.
Yeah.
I know a lot of us. I think everyone in the Porsche Tag Warrior Esports Super Cup, we all have direct drive wheels and at least music belt pedals. Those are At this point, that's kind of just the standard. I know.
Which pedals is that?
So I run the Hoisingfeld sprint pedals, but I know that a lot of people as well are on Hoisingfeld Ultimate
V6.
I know wheel-wise, it kind of deviates, but I think most of our guys are on the Simicube 2 and the VRS Direct Force Pro, because we found the Direct Force Pro has been probably the wheel and kind of the new standard for what sim racing involves.
Okay. So do you find that it's a sim equipment or setup for the car that's more important?
I think it's a hard question, but I think it comes down to setup a lot of the times, but it depends on the car almost. I know in the Porsche 911 Cup car that I spend most of my time in, we're so restricted on setup that we can really only adjust 5-6 things in the entire car. So in that case, sim equipment's going to mean more. But if we're talking about the iRacing Indy 500, where you have a million things you can adjust on the Indy car and a million different options for everything,
Shaun, having fun with
then
your favorite
it's
car?
going to matter more about setup and how you drive it and really getting
Right.
it down to your driving style.
Okay. Yeah, I'm always curious about that, like, you know, which is what do you think is more important? You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, and in my opinion, it's honestly, I think setup is probably more important looking for a competitive edge, but I think setup is 95% the difference, and then probably equipment's 5%, kind of in pro.
Right. Okay.
Like when I went to, now what I will say though is that nicer equipment will help your consistency more than your pace. I know.
Fair enough.
Well, good evening out there, drivers. We want to welcome you to the February edition here in 2021 of the Ricmotech Hotlap Humpday Challenge. Great to see you guys back. Cameron Martino joining us tonight from the Extreme Motorsports Series over there. Andrew Slizens is back here in 2021, looking to do some damage
it's
to the
helped
old
me
clock.
having a better
David
rig
Clymer,
for
great
sure.
to see you back out here
But
with us.
there's
Sean Cole, of
something
course, from
about
the
just
Simpit,
knowing the
bringing the
sim
show live
world
tonight. Robby Unser joining us
practicing
as
and
well
getting the
out
car
there. He'll be
set
putting
up.
some more laps in.
Speaking of
as
that,
well.
Kevin, have you gotten into this session yet?
The car ahead has just
Kevin?
done at 135.39.
He's
We
talking
lost
to
Kevin.
the room. He's talking to the room, Robby.
Okay. Because he's got a setup that he's supposed to be sharing with us.
Yeah, I got you. I'll go ahead and toss that in here. This is the Apex Racing Academy setup. I'll go ahead and share that to everyone.
Okay, I'll go try that.
Yeah,
All right, I'm back,
gonna
guys.
jump
Sorry
on
about
right
that. I
away.
was talking with the drivers in the sim there.
I didn't
A few
hear
little
you.
Tips about tonight. No,
I
I
didn't
hope
hear
it came
you in
across.
sim.
It looked like the mic was working.
I heard you in Sim.
You did? Okay, Shaun.
I had to mute you.
Oh, did you?
Well, you were talking.
I did fix my buttons so I don't go across the air at the same time now.
Well,
so
pop
that's
it
good.
again. Hit your button and tell, just so I
Right.
can see if you're. Nothing. What the hell?
Do you have chat turned off? Do you hear this, Robby?
I hear you.
Did he echo it all?
I hear you,
Let
Shaun.
me- So chat turned off. Where would I have that turned
Under
off?
sound.
Enabled.
on the
Under
right-hand
sound.
side.
Yeah,
Go to the
no,
options.
it's enabled. Checked enabled. Disable while driving. No.
Go up to your devices and reselect your headset
Yeah,
as the
of course.
playback device. Well, reselect it. I've had that do that sometimes. It's odd. You just have to
Yes.
reselect it and then hit done and then it reconnects.
Every Windows
All right,
update you'll need
Try
to do.
that again.
Thank you, Shaun. You're right. Yep.
That's what hosed everything here this morning. All my lights
Robby,
were
do you have a copy?
Radio check.
Yeah, I got you now. Yep.
Copy.
Okay, I see.
Yep. You're back in business.
Now, I'm
There
going to
we
walk
go.
away for a second, but before I do, does anybody have a solution for the... somebody must have put a banana in my tailpipe. There's got to be something wrong with the motor, because it just does not sound right. Anyone?
I would try taking the banana out of the exhaust pipe.
I
See
hope
if that helps.
I
I
found
tried.
it, and I hope that does it, but I don't know that it did.
Bigger banana.
Yeah.
Put a
Yeah,
second one
bigger
in there.
banana, right? Oh, goodness. That's great. Good stuff.
Be back in a flash.
All right.
We got it
sounds
on
good.
Robby and on Most Exciting.
We have it on Robby and Exciting.
I feel
How are
sorry
you
for
doing both?
Because I've got a camera for me and Robby, and I've got a TV camera for me and Robby. So Robby's picture-in-picture is live with him. And since I stepped away, I just put it on Most Exciting, and I'll be back on my in-car when I'm back. I'm going to look at the leaderboard real quick. I can't wait to try that set, because the default Daytona set just feels slow. And the gearing is horrible. The gearing
is it really?
Yeah, on the Daytona. Yeah, it's like, come on, I need a half gear between first and second the way they're set up.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think one of the main things about the LMP2 is that it tends to be very simplified in terms of setup on a few things. And one of those things is gearing. So I believe you only have a tall and a short stack.
Oh, okay.
And so you're kind of locked into the tall stack here with how little downforce you're running. So you end up,
top speed.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Sure. Okay. Well, so it just means you have to run second and grunt it out of corners.
Mm-hmm.
Or learn to carry more speed because you're in an LMP2, not a GT car. Gotcha. I can do this. It'll just take 3.5 hours. Hey, I have almost that time. All right. I'll be right back.
All right, sounds good, Shaun. Well, Zach, I don't know how much time you have to share with us tonight, but we'd sure love to have you stick around here. Robby is looking for how to get some better grip on the rear end here, I see.
Yeah, no shit. Which is the on the in-car, do you know, like, what's gain and slip?
So your gain is basically going to, essentially when the traction control kicks in, it's the higher the number, the more it's going to cut the torque. While the slip is basically, when it's higher, it'll intervene at kind of smaller differences between the left and the right rear wheel speed when you spin up the rears coming off the corner. So essentially what it's going to do is that the gain kind of controls how much it activates, and then the slip controls when it activates.
Okay. And 2 is the low number of that.
Correct.
All right. So if I just turn that up a little bit, it might. Okay. That's another thing. All these cars are so different. You really kind of got to drive them to have your stuff set.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it all kind of ends up, it comes with seat time, and so that's why that's why we end up, for a lot of the events that we're not in the car a lot. So like the PESC series, we're in the car all the time. We know all the ins and outs of it. But if we come run a race in, like the Daytona 24, or Petit Le Mans, or Sebring, then we end up in the LMP2, which isn't a car that we're used to. And so that's something that's why it takes so much time to practice for a lot of these events, is because it's just about knowing kind of everything about the car before you get into it.
Right. Well, that's what we do at this hump day thing. It's a different car. You don't know what you're going to get. It takes me a while to even sort out that kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Yeah, that's...
And really, that's been a lot of the idea behind this event, is to allow drivers to come in and press their talents, if you will, with setting up a car, trying to figure out within a 2-hour time frame, 2.5 hours of seat time, or however long they have when they join the session, to adjust the car to get the most out of it. Certainly when they don't know what the car track combination is going to, it does create quite an element of items to address to win the competition.
The leader has just done a 133.33.
notice some of the drivers at the top of the board are the guys that usually are at the top of the board regardless of the car or track. However, they do battle it out up there. You'll see them off track for a few minutes working on the car, then they'll come back out and shave off a little bit, off the time. And so it is fascinating, and it's neat to watch the progression of the session. In the first couple hours, we'll get drivers that are working their way through the board rather quickly. And within about an hour and 15 minutes, an hour and 45 minutes, I see that pattern starting to slow down now. The guys are starting to dial things in a little bit, and now it's a matter, okay, the car feels right. I just got to figure out how to maximize it with my inputs and those traits. So it's an interesting competition, the way we put this together. And obviously it's a little unorthodox, certainly compared to what you guys do to prepare for some of these major events where you know the car inside and out, you know the track inside and out. Now you're just trying to optimize your performance to the highest level. Now, when we talk about your team, Zach, are you guys... is this team driving that you're doing in the vehicle, or is this a situation where you have multi-cars and it's a single driver series?
So we end up in a single driver series in the Super Cup, but in a lot of these events we'll enter multiple cars with just a few drivers in each. So normally we'll have about 3 drivers per car whenever we enter one of the larger endurance events.
Wonderful.
But yeah, in PESC, it's all single driver. You're the only person kind of in control of your own destiny.
Gotcha. And do you find the teammates work together fairly well? I'm sure they're direct competition at the same time, so that must be interesting. But do you find, having teammates on a professional team like that, obviously camaraderie, the overall goal is for the team to score well. So I'm sure there are those same dynamics that you see in real life motorsports.
Well, you always want to beat your teammate, right?
Of course.
That's the person that's all the same stuff.
Right.
But I mean, if you can't get along, you can't go fast. So it's always so important to work together. And it's a team that I really enjoy being around. I know our drivers in PESC are me, Kevin Ellis Jr., Jamie Fluke, Jeff Giassi, and Jan Hart. And I wouldn't work any other 4 guys because
that's tremendous.
We can all, we know our strengths. We know everything. We know basically we've all worked together for a while now. Jeff is the newest person to the team. We added him in December. And we've all worked just super hard together, and we can all get along, just to the point where we don't mind doing laps and trying to race one another because we're always kind of on top of each other and really just kind of enjoy each other's company and enjoy each other's, how we race each other on the track, especially when you're talking about, doing these test races and such. You learn each other's tendencies, and so I know we always say we do test races for these events just to learn, but it very quickly evolves into we're gonna learn how to beat each other.
Yeah, exactly.
And so it just becomes super duper competitive almost immediately. I know.
The gloves come off, or they go on in this case.
Oh man, it's so we did a test. Yeah, we did a test race earlier for
7th position
this week, and I know essentially it became just instead of how do I put it? So. It didn't happen today, but I know in the past, the way the Porsche races right now is that draft is the biggest thing. You're essentially running a NASCAR plate race on a road course in that car, the way you have to race. So, essentially...
sounds like the MX-5.
Yes. I believe this draft is probably stronger than the
goodness.
MX-5.
Oh, I need to get back in that car and see what that's like. It's been a while.
It's very intense because essentially... the way the draft is right now is that you can get it from about 1.8 seconds back, and it slowly builds the closer you can get to someone. So when you're within 3/10 of someone, the draft is so strong that if you have a run, you almost have to take it, because if you lift, you're gonna lose so much speed that you're gonna get a run through the back of them. So a lot of what we do in test races is learn how to
Sector 2 is
balance that,
0.43 off
how
the
we
pace.
play these races that are, they're 2 races each time.
Right, Cameron found it. Okay, so I guess you guys are having trouble finding the room.
And so what happens
I don't
is
know what to do
that
about that.
in that
Cameron,
first
I
race,
guess,
it's
found
only
it
15
using the
minutes,
beta UI.
basically. It's that short, and so you
that's
really
my
want to get
racing
everything you
issue.
get, and then the
I
second
found it the other way, so.
That's your quickest lap in this session.
That's it.
puts
Oh,
you
sorry,
2.2
Robbie, did you-
seconds off the leader's pace.
Somebody
You've
chat-
just done that
oh,
on
Robbie's-
35.50.
Oh, hold
No, I
on,
was
Robbie.
talking to Shaun.
Oh, you're talking to Shaun. Gotcha.
Oh, I didn't know you
Yep,
could hear
yep.
me. Or did you hear the stream?
I don't know. I can hear you on TeamSpeak.
I thought TeamSpeak. Oh, is TeamSpeak?
Well,
not
it
this
was
mic?
muted.
You
I
guys hear
couldn't
me?
hear you, Shaun.
You can hear me?
I don't know how Robbie was hearing you.
How's Robby hearing me? How?
So,
I'm confused.
Mostly in English.
Mostly. I love it.
So, some people are having a hard time finding the room. I got in through the regular way.
Okay. If you're looking in the new beta, there's a search box at the top. So over on the left menu, you will click hosted races, or hit go racing, click hosted races. Just type Daytona in the search box there, and then look for the room called Ricmotech Hotlap Humpday Challenge.
And then somebody else asked, Zach, are you going to be driving with us here today?
I think I could probably hop in and do a few laps here.
Yeah, it'd be great to have you out on track, Zach.
It takes it is clear.
We appreciate all your input, and I'm sure there's probably a lot of sim racers out there that love this car that may not know what a lot of those things are in the setup of this machine.
Yeah.
So,
Awesome.
Robbie,
Hopefully it
if you
works for
have
you, John.
questions, feel free to ask. It'll help our viewers help understand some of those dynamics about this car. Yeah. So Zach, you don't have to give away any secrets. We can maybe explain what some of these things do.
Oh yeah, there are no real secrets. Right here in this car, I don't think we this car isn't one where I've delved into it a lot. But it's a very similar platform to the Corvette C7 Daytona
Fucking hell, that
prototype.
looked like it hurt.
Kind
You
of
alright?
mixed in with the Dallara R18, which is 2 cars that I heavily invested myself in. So
Except the Corvette sounds cool, and this one does not.
the Corvette does sound incredible, and the Corvette, I'm
Yes.
very sad the Corvette went away,
behind.
because
Watch
the
your
Corvette
mirrors.
was my favorite car to
Looks
drive
like
here.
Car, but we kept getting the Phantom Black Meatball, or the Meatball, in the day.
Yeah.
So but it's one of my all-time favorite iRacing cars.
Oh, it was fantastic. I mean, driving it at Petit Le Mans, especially last year. Oh, I need to turn my force feedback down in this car. It just almost ripped it out of my hands.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. But I know for Petit Le Mans in 2019, that's probably one of the best cars that I've driven that we've put together. It was so much fun to drive. I mean, that car especially, my driving style tends to be a little adverse to most road racers kind of on the top level. A lot of them are very kind of stable, very smooth on the inputs.
Yep.
And mine, coming from driving stock cars first, I've never really changed my driving style, which is turning the car mostly with the pedals and really working on just manhandling the car rather than letting the car kind of do its own thing. So it's been the Corvette fit right in there, and it was so much fun, especially at tracks like Road Atlanta and Sebring, where you could really just brawl with it. Be able to, especially on old tires, it was just so much fun.
Yeah, it's definitely a great automobile. Absolutely.
P8.
As we watch Robby Unser coming out of International Horseshoe here, heading up the infamous interior straightaway here into that kink, down into turn 5 here at Daytona Road Course, running the 2008 version of the Daytona Road Course tonight on iRacing. If you guys are catching the Simpit show tonight as we're broadcasting live our entire event, the February edition of the Hotlap Humpday Challenge here for 2021. Hope everyone is doing well out there and staying safe. And if you have an opportunity to jump into a simulator, well, you should be over here with us for our Ricmotech event tonight. We do this the third Wednesday of each month. Gosh, I think we're into year 4 now. We're knocking these things out here. We're going to be starting year 5, I think, coming up at the end of this year. It's been going on for quite some time now. Special guest tonight, well, actually a couple guests. Robby Unser, he's not really a guest anymore. Robby's been quite the mainstay here with our show the last couple of years now, so we appreciate Robby's time each and every month as it comes out and takes on the challenge
Sector 2 is a second off the
everyone
pace.
else. And of course tonight we have from Apex Racing Academy and from the Ray Hall Letterman race team, Mr. Zach Campbell. Zach, great to have you with us tonight. I see you're going to get out there and run a couple laps with us. Elvis Rankin sitting at the top of the board. He's another fellow youngster out there, up-and-coming sim racer that's had some great accomplishments in the Extreme Motorsports series here on iRacing.
Sector 3 is 0.31 off the pace.
Bandoleros, and Elvis coming in with a 133.328 tonight. He's number 1 up at the top of the board at the present time. And then, of course, another driver from the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Championship Series, Cameron Martino, coming in P2 right now on the board with a 133.827. Chris Generelli having a great time here with a 134 flat, just a couple of tenths back behind Cameron. The board has slowed down already, as I mentioned earlier. These drivers usually work their way
off the pace
up that clock and that ladder quite a bit. I see those times moving around quite often, but they have slowed down here. Robby trying to move his way up the board. Shaun just ahead of him with 1.5.499. Kenneth, you step out here with us tonight as well. Great to have Kenneth with us. He's sitting on a 146.9.
Left side.
David Clymer, that number 240.
Hold your line. You're
Great
clear
to have
left.
him back with us. David, just saying hi up there to you. I know you
Sector 2 is 0.8 off the pace.
Right on track, so great to see you, and you're coming
That
in
looked
with a nice
bad.
time.
Can you confirm that you're all right, please, Shaun?
4.45. So we're going to take 12 drivers tonight into our final dual race event. That will be a dual 15-minute race here at Daytona International Speedway, coming in with 133-minute lap times. So we're guesstimating somewhere in the neighborhood of around 8 laps is what will take place in the events. There'll be 2 of those here this evening. So Zach, how are you with sprint racing? Because I'll tell you that is certainly going to be what we're going to have here tonight.
Well, my first podium
Think
in
8 laps?
my first podium in the Porsche Tag Heuer Super Cup Series came in a sprint race. So I
oh, no kidding. Okay,
yeah, I'm pretty
great.
happy with that. Yeah. No, I really enjoy sprint racing. I know. Yeah, I've always really enjoyed kind of the long distance stuff, but sprint racing is so much fun just to pick up and just go for it.
I have always found it fascinating, the 2 different styles of, I guess, preparation, if you will, from a mental capacity going into an endurance event versus running a 30-minute or a 45 or even a 60-minute event. You really come at it with a completely different mindset, don't you?
Yeah, I think a lot of drivers do.
Yep.
I know there are a lot of drivers that kind of, especially when you're talking about these big oval races especially, they come in with kind of the mentality of just give and take, and it's an extremely important thing to have. It's just the ability to know when to give, know when to kind of pick it up mid-race and bring it, and end up just going faster. And I know I tend to do things a little differently in that respect.
Sure.
I kind of almost
clear.
learned my lesson at Indy this year, in a way, because I have started seventh just immediately made my way to third, and I just said, okay, I'm gonna sit here and save fuel. And then I immediately like just didn't hit my in lap perfect and lost the draft to the leader and was just stuck on catch up. And so a lot of kind of the shift in my own kind of mentality over the past year or so has really been from a more conservative standpoint to, okay, I'm going into a race, let's just try and go out there and lead every single lap. And it's two different frames of mind that are almost extremely interesting. Having been a part of both, it's something that I look at that both work. It's just a matter of figuring out when to have one versus when to have the other.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've done a few endurance events in my day, and I'm so busy now with all of the other projects around this explosion of sim racing.
The guy in front has just done a 135, 128.
So my seat time has diminished quite rapidly and to pretty much nil anymore. But the time that I did prepare for 24 or 12 hours of spa, I think we ran Nürburgring, of course, which was quite an accomplishment just to get to the end, honestly. But yeah, when you come in on a 3, 4, or 5 hour stint, which is an enormous amount of time, even in a simulator in your home. You think that sitting in the air conditioning, moving a steering wheel left and right, not a problem, not even going to break a sweat. Well, I'll tell you, that is quite a mental accomplishment to dedicate yourself for that much time, going through a repetitious behavior and trying to do it as precisely as you can over and over and over and over and over again.
Sector 1 is 0.9 off the pace.
It's so, sometimes it's just entirely just...
The track temperature is increasing. It's now 25 Celsius.
Last year at Sebring, I know Kevin Ellis Jr., who was one of our teammates, we were in the fight with Mitchell de Jong and his car for second place. And so essentially what happened was they were on a feel-safe strategy while we were on just full push. We'll make one stop with 10 minutes to go and hopefully we get out ahead of them. And so we ended up in this point where, okay, Kev, you're going to have to stay in the car for 4.5 hours straight. And at the end, I just remember him. We were celebrating, obviously. We were happy, but he was just completely fried, just mentally and physically, just from having to push that hard for so long. And it was, I mean, it really kind of puts it into perspective of, oh wow, this can be just incredibly physical and incredibly difficult to really to get around.
Yeah, I actually was trying to explain to my family physician a couple of years ago about, he was very intrigued with the sim racing my wife always shares we're up to. He's been our doctor for many years. We all have them, with our families. And so I started sharing with them the physical experience that we have in sim racing and concentration.
Sector 1 is 0.8 off the pace.
Be somewhat, physically conditioned for driving. It's amazing the different muscles you use, your posture as you're driving. I drive with belts, even in my sim rig, just because I want to keep my composure and my posture in a correct position, just for endurance, to get
the car in front has just done a 135.22. Sector 2 is 0.8 off the pace.
Intrigued and just enthralled with the fact that we actually broke a sweat. And I said, oh, it goes beyond that. And so I started asking him, about that, for cardiac and getting, some sort of exhilaration out of it, what does it do for condition-wise, and we just got in this whole deep discussion. But yeah, it's amazing. You wouldn't think,
Sector 3 is 0.9 off the pace.
You could actually break a sweat doing anything, let alone doing something in a simulation activity. Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, I know. I haven't been able to do it in a while, but I run two-stroke K100 karts at Atlanta
Okay, I'm
Motorsports
going
Park.
away.
There's a
I'm
track
not
in
going to be
Dawsonville,
here
Georgia.
much today. I
Nice.
hate this car.
And
I hate this
honestly,
car
the Sim is
so
more
much.
physical
Every
than the
time
karting.
I get stuck in this stupid
I
fucking
have
car,
heard some people
my
say
initial
that.
thought is I should quit
Yeah,
sim racing.
I mean,
because
you
if
know,
this is what racing
once
is like,
you're done with
I
a day of
prefer ice
karting, you know,
skating.
maybe your
Fuck
arms hurt,
this
maybe your
car.
sides hurt for
How do you really
6
feel?
I
hours.
leave you with
Right.
Robbie.
And like,
I leave you
yeah,
with
when
most
you're
exciting.
really
and I
just
leave you
kind
with
of
Zach and Kevin.
when you're really
be
in the
back.
sim and you put
What
in
a
a big
stupid
stint or you
car.
do a 500 mile
Dallara,
race,
what the
it's
F?
hard
I always
on you,
loved
and your
Dallara.
Oh, it
arms
is.
hurt.
Yeah.
And your legs hurt too, because like in a cart, you know, the brake's actually not that stiff in a cart.
Right.
But in in the sim where I have my brake pedal kind of set to where it takes I think it's like 165 or 180 pounds of force just to go to 100%.
Yeah, so
So-
that's yeah, I can see where that certainly is gonna get you some exercise. I know driving. We of course there's very few cars remaining on iRacing, or of course out there in the world today that are stick shift. I'm an old geezer, and I like having a stick shift in my hand. This whole paddle shifting thing, I'm not sure I quite understand that, but that shows my age. But anywho, the driving the stick shift like the Mustang FR500 on iRacing, which to me I think is, if you just want to go out with some good old American muscle and try to drive a car that has, a co-op tire between a street and a race grid, and go out and sling that thing around, it'll wear you out, working the clutch, and you forget what those drivers like Mr. Unser went through working a clutch and a shifter and all that, huh, Robbie?
Yeah, back when you really drove.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right back when you really drove. Yeah. So Robbie, do tell. You always have such fascinating stories. What was your best moment that you can recall with a stick shift? What car was it in?
What?
Well, driving it. What was your favorite experience?
In IndyCar, we used to have to shift them.
Yeah. Right.
Mhm.
Bang through the gears.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's a different game now. It's so insane just to see how everything's changed.
I know.
Because
It really has.
I mean, I think IndyCars had just stick shifts up until 07, I think it was. It was.
Well, I ran, my last year was 2000, and that was the first year we had synchro boxes. Or inline, like the motorcycle.
Yeah.
Was in 2000 for an Indy car.
Mhm.
But that were still IRL and kart, so the kart cars could have had it already.
Yeah, I can't remember if the Lolas they ran up until 06 were just the straight line box or if it was actual stick shift. In Champ Car. But yeah, I mean, I may be young, but I like all the old, like,
you can appreciate
the old
it.
ways
I love
of
it.
things. I really
love
like.
it.
I wish we were doing like stick shifts and heel toe in the Porsche Cup and stuff like that.
Right.
'Cause, like,
to me, man, that is really controlling that vehicle to the nth degree. I mean, that's putting that car in
Fucker.
your hands. Yeah, boy, Robbie, yeah, she's dancing on you, isn't she? get loose on the braking there.
It always does.
Yeah, right. Yeah, there's something to be said about some of those good old days of driving, and of course, Robbie has stories to share. That boy, he has told us some good ones about it. Of course, all of his Pikes Peak stories.
Oh yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, those are fun.
Back before Pikes Peak was all paved as well.
Yeah, when it was a real race.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's a shame. I know V8 Supercars is going to finally going to paddle shifters, which is very sad. And
It is.
NASCAR is going to
Yeah, but it's the way it's
and,
going. I mean,
Yeah, it's technology.
at the end of the day,
yeah,
the reliability is better. There's a lot of, just
the racing is still there, and the racing is still great. Yep.
Yeah.
So when you're sideways at the exit and you hear the engine cut out, what is that? Is that the gain or the slip?
That's going to be the gain. But I know the TC is very progressive in this car. So a lot of the time you'll have, if you get over a certain amount of slip angle, it'll just cut all torque. And so I know this car, something about this car, especially here and at Le Mans, it's a lot about just really being low on the, or not having a lot of throttle in it while you're at low speed, and you have a lot of steering lock in it. Once you get that steering lock out of it, that's when you can, you really can't get on the throttle until
You're straight.
Until you're straight, yeah.
Okay, how about the throttle shape? Is that worth messing with?
So the throttle shape's basically going to change the way the throttle curve is. Yeah. So I believe one is just a linear curve, and I think that once you each different option is basically shifting to different butterfly curves or different fuel maps. Can't remember which it is in this car.
Got you. Yeah. Like slow in the beginning and progressive at the end, or
just an update on those times out there. Mr. Elvis Rankin
So
still
I believe
holding down that P1 on the board there with
So,
a
I'm just reading kind of the setup, little
133.328.
detail here.
Zach Campbell
So one
coming
is
in with a
very linear shape, and
133.460
then,
as he's out there getting some laps in with you guys right now.
after that,
Speaking of
it
Zach, if y'all have an
progressively
opportunity
becomes more
to
of, butterfly
pull up on
shape
your phone or a
the
tablet or
throttle.
a laptop next to you there in your rig, and check out
I know I have
the
also
Simpit show
shared a,
with Shaun
a
Cole. We're
qualifying
live right
set
now,
in,
and Zach's
the
talking
session
about
as well.
this car and what
just
some of
with
the
less fuel,
setups
'cause I
do
know the
in the
one I
car
shared
and how
before
it
had,
affects the handling.
had a full tank
If you
in
want to get a few tips on
Yeah, I
the
went down to
217, make sure
10
you
gallons,
jump over to YouTube and
on
watch
that
the
setup.
Simpit for a few minutes.
Yeah, I believe I am on. Yeah, I'm on 2.7.
Great to see everybody out. We have a few more cars coming in here tonight. Joe Antonio taking one of the garages now. Great to see him joining us. Phil Scrutton coming out. John Hill. A lot of our regulars bouncing back into February's edition here. Going to come out and see if they can knock some of the big dogs off the top of the board here. David Clymer moving up, doing a great job here with a 134.445. And Interest Lizen's holding on there in that number 99 tonight with a 134.
This is all I know.
Holding down P6 there.
I know whenever we used to do stock car stuff, we always loved to do old Daytona so much more than new Daytona because you really had to drive the cars.
I didn't know there was a difference.
Oh yeah, you can't feel all those bumps there, Robby.
Well, yeah, but it is what I always knew. I didn't know there was
that's
a new
true.
Daytona.
That's all you knew.
I'm old, remember? This is just freaking Daytona.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, Zach, you're hanging out with a couple of old farts tonight there, buddy.
Listen, that's fine. I'm enjoying it.
Oh, man.
Oh, miss that apex.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, I was speaking with Alex last night, Zach, and I said, you know, we need to get one of your guys out here in our hot lap competition as a guest, and you know, they'd love to see him out there, and so we got to talking more about it. He said, give me a bit. I know exactly what I want to do, and here you are.
Yeah.
So yeah, great to have you, Zach.
No, he reached out to me this morning. He was like, "Do this," and I was like, "Absolutely, sounds like fun." So
yeah,
I'm right in here. It helps that I'm the only American on the team, so
Yes, that makes it a lot
Yeah.
easier because when I started listing the GMT time in your message today on Discord, I thought, goodness, I hope and I would presume that Alex would try to grab one of the U.S. drivers because 1 in the morning, boy, that comes pretty quick.
Yeah, he's got a good choice of U.S. drivers. I know
That's right.
I'm
Robbie, hold on.
I'm one of 3.
Oh, are you?
Okay,
great. Well, Kevin's over here too, isn't he?
Kev is actually from Scotland.
Is he?
He's in Glasgow.
Oh, is he really? Okay, yeah, because he ran with us in the Extreme Motorsports Series for a couple of seasons.
Yeah.
Great to have him over there.
Yeah, he's from Scotland. I know it's the time zone thing is a little weird. Last year when we had Jared Filsell in the Porsche Esports Super Cup Series, which he's from Australia, so it was really hard for that to all work out.
Yeah.
Because essentially, like, the time zones are just flipped from Europe to that.
Yeah.
But,
it's 8 at night here. It's pretty much 8 or 9 in the morning in Australia.
Yeah. Luckily, we've had when we brought in Jeff Giassi, I finally felt like, yes, we have someone that is like vaguely in my time zone.
Sure.
Because obviously Kev's from Scotland, Jamie's from Northern Ireland, and then Jan's from France. So we're just kind of so essentially like there's nothing for me to do after, like, you know, there's no group running we can do or anything after like 6 p.m. my time. So it ends up.
You're in England?
Yeah. No, I'm like halfway between Atlanta, Georgia, and Greenville, South Carolina. So.
Oh, you're over here. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Zach, I'm sure we have a lot of viewers out there that are not only, you know, serious sim racers, guys that are, you know, very dedicated to Shaun's show, very you know, passionate about sim racing, and then you know, we have viewers that are new to sim racing, that are just getting started, or, you know, are looking to really you know, find themselves competing at a high level at some point, and are relatively new coming into what I refer to as a sport. I think it was well beyond the gaming aspect when you look at the parallels, you know, to being in a real car, obviously outside of that seat of the pants field. You know, there's a lot of conditions and factors, certainly racecraft being the biggest one, learning all of those skills out on the track. But if you were to speak to some of these sim racers and younger drivers out there, what you've experienced over the last 6 years, you know, when you talk about seat time, we all know that is really rule number one. You have to put the time in, and it has to be a worthy seat time, not just lapping around the track. What would be your best advice?
There are a few problems I have with this car.
Stick with it.
Barely.
And always keep learning. Because you're never going to stop learning. And that's one of the things that I've noticed, is that every time I go out on track, I'm always learning something and just taking in information. I hardly ever leave a practice or quit doing hot laps and just think, oh, well, that didn't do anything for me. One of the biggest things that is always just a constant all the time is simply just learning.
I'm not. It's tough.
And just...
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, and just analyzing and really kind of understanding kind of what you're doing and
clear.
what you can improve on, and that never feel like you can't learn something. Or one of the thing when you start to get to a lot of the top guys, never feel like you're too good to learn from somebody.
Sure.
That's what
I think. Yeah, I think that's not only great competitive sim racing advice for a driver, but it's great life advice. That's tenacity, staying humble, and always knowing that not only your experiences on track every day, but obviously in life too, is needs to always be a learning experience to better yourself in all ways. But back to the racing side of it, you know, there's so many aspects that play into becoming a serious sim driver on a competitive level. And if you look at not only the physical side of the driving, sort of sitting down and talking about how you can not only break a sweat, literally be just absolutely drenched. Think you were in a racing outfit in the middle of July in a car. But the mental side of it, it's easy to get in a car and do laps. We've all done it. You get out there, you just kind of drift, you get in the zone, you start daydreaming. Next thing you know, you've done 20 laps. Were they productive? Not so much. Going out and doing 20 laps, breaking it into 10 laps each, and looking at telemetry and studying where you're not getting into the brake zones deep enough, or where you're not getting back to throttle quick enough coming out of entry, or out of apex rather.
Damn, missed that.
All of those key little elements can turn a 20-lap practice into one of the most productive
left side
had on the sound, or it can be
clear on the left side
in just going through the motions. And I can certainly see just years of experience I've had in sim racing, it takes all of that to really learn and to continually grow, like you described, to continue to get better, because we all hit those plateaus. Heck on it, man, I have been cracking at this track and I just cannot get those times down. And I think that goes back to what you said about don't give up. It's like any sport, whether it be gymnastics or whatever single player, I guess, if you will, sports, where it all relies on yourself from a mental position, a physical position,
B9.
Stamina.
Sector 2 is a second off the pace.
Or your responses. All of that is so important. Did you get a cut there, Shaun?
Yeah.
Yep. All day long, every time. Good job, buddy. Stay with it. Don't give up, right, Zach?
Absolutely.
I've only posted 3 laps, I think.
Oh, goodness, yeah. So, that's a good case in point. Here Shaun is doing everything he can to get these 20 laps, and it just shows what it takes to really dial yourself into where you can drive.
Well, I don't know. I've gone
level.
back to
How many of
the
those
stock
plateaus
one.
have you hit, Zach? I mean, did you go through that as well?
Yeah, I mean, you tend to always go through those plateaus. It's the mental game is something that I don't even fully understand, and it's something that we all have kind of shifted to working on. And that's the part of it that is almost kind of the hardest to understand and the hardest to talk about, is
Sure.
that it's extremely hard to keep your focus and understand what you can do and how you can do it, and analyze what you can do to be better. And it's something that when we go into these world championship races, is that
There's a car approaching. Watch your mirrors. Stay behind the white line.
And we can't just have our minds wander, and that's why someone like Josh Rogers or Sebastian Job or Mitchell DeYoung can really kind of get in that zone every single time. And it's something that, being thrown into the series at the deep end, because I'd never been in a World Championship Series before. And so I was kind of thrown in at the deep end and just had to kind of sink or swim and learn.
Yep.
And so I think you see a lot of guys kind of mentally shut themselves down and mentally shut themselves out.
Sure, I can see that.
Yeah, and it's something I see with a lot of guys who come into the series, is they think, there's either there's some guys who go in and they're overconfident and they're a little arrogant, and they think, oh, I can get away with not practicing and I'll be fine, I did well in the pro qualifications.
Sure.
Or you'll see guys who just get there and they're scared that they're even there in the first place. And
Right.
It's just little mistakes like that where you almost kind of psych yourself out. And so for me, it's almost, maybe it's out of ignorance more than anything, but the biggest thing I felt this season is that, like, when I got in, it's like, well, this may be my first year in the very upper echelon best 40 guys here. But like, I don't see why I can't perform to a level that well exceeds everyone's expectations. And so I went in with just no pressure on myself, and that seems to be the way that I function. And everybody has their own kind of different way that they come to grasp with what they're doing. And so that's how I think about it. It's just I have no pressure. I just need to go out there and do what I like, do what I enjoy.
Yep. Yeah, there must be a delicate balance there between understanding the obligation that you have made to your teammates and to the team owner and your sponsors and everyone involved that supports your talent, and finding the other side of that scale is still enjoying and driving with the passion that got you to where you're at. So that balance, it has to be something you toy with it a lot. Robby, I'll ask you, looking back on your career, how you mentally prepared for your different events. Did you find that you had a routine that you used on a regular basis?
Exit, you can push now.
A lot of whiskey. Excellent. Excellent. We won't get into the brands, but hey, whiskey's a good start.
Shane, this is it. What do you mean? This is the official stream.
No, I mean, when you do it, I find even as iRacing, that is the hardest thing. It's the hardest thing in real life. It's the hardest thing in the sim world. And it's just doing it. I think when you do it a bunch, you're better at it. It's like for me, I drive on the sim a fair amount, but I don't do a lot of official races. So I realized that when I get into official races, it's a bit nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
Because I haven't been in a lot of them. So, you know what I mean? As far as working in the traffic and stuff, I don't want to be a problem, so I tend to just kind of get past, just let guys go. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to make mistakes.
Nah, Shane, I stream it for Ricmotech. That's how we have Robby. Normally, pre-COVID, we would have cameras down at Ricmotech headquarters in Miami as well. But they haven't been able to invite
I was
guests
throwing a little
for quite
humor
some
in there,
time,
Robby.
obviously.
I don't think you're the one with the problem out there. Usually in official races, we find that it's always the other guy that got into me, right?
Not necessarily.
No, I know. I'm kidding, right?
But I just take it real easy.
Yeah, I don't think they do that, Zach.
Well,
Or
you're
the other
respectful
thing
about
that
it.
gets me is in this stupid sim, you got to do everything.
Yeah.
So by the time I look down to see my fuel, I look up and I hit something. It's like,
Right.
Oh God.
Sure, because your job, your whole career was to drive the car, right?
Well,
You're paying me to drive the car,
right? By the time I get my eyes focused and my glasses adjusted, it's too late. I hit whatever I was looking at.
Right. I'm with you. But yeah, it is quite a mental sport. There is no question about it. And like you said, Robby, it's no different in the sim. The level of detail, attention to detail that you have to give to all of your inputs and your footwork and everything that you're doing to provide the smoothest possible lap that you can. That's not a way to do it there, Robby, although that was a beautiful donut, I must say. My goodness. That was
Can't go fast, look good.
That's right. Can't have both, can you?
Ken Brockett.
Oh, that's great. Good stuff.
Hey, Randy, Happy New Year to you too, bud.
Yeah, great to see all our viewers out there.
Sector 2 is 0.6 off the pace.
Edition of the Ricmotech Hotlap Humpday Challenge.
Again.
Great to be back again here in February on Thursday night.
On the front side.
Our entire crew has been tied up on a few Wednesdays here, providing some exciting racing, Apex Racing TV, covering the Road to Indy series. Get a chance to check that out. We have 2 more rounds left. Round 4 and round 5 will be coming up the next 2 weeks on Wednesday at 6:45 Eastern Time, 11:45 GMT. Get to see all of the real drivers from the Road to Indy series. This isn't just sim racers that are competing in that event. These are actually all of the real drivers that compete in real life in the Road to Indy E-Series presented by Cooper Tires. And of course, the E-Series is also presented by Cooper Tires and of course, TireRack.com. So make sure you head over to check out those events coming up here on the next 2 Wednesdays coming up here on Apex Racing TV.
Zach, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Any word on your thoughts on, are they going to that new Dallara for you guys next season?
So from my understanding, it is going to be a separate world championship that runs in the fall. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I wouldn't see any reason for the Porsche series not to continue alongside.
Now, do you know if that means that that pro list from the series you're in, is that where they're going to draw from, or is this going to be an all-new thing?
I think it could end up being all new. We don't really know right now. There are no real details. I think the main thing that they want to do is kind of get the Porsche series out of the way.
You're right.
Really kind of latch
Still
on to the
there.
Dallara
You're
series.
on your right.
I think right now they're just trying to fix a few bugs in the car before they really kind of delve into it later in the year. Yeah, no, I'm super excited. I love open wheel cars. That is where you know, that's my bread and butter, and so that's something that as soon as they announced it, I was like all over that. Like, I want to go drive it right now.
Right now.
And one thing that, you know, that I miss that will be in that series that's not in the Porsche series is the fact that we'll have strategy again, and tire strategies, different compounds, and stuff like that. And so I know you mentioned earlier, I think Robby did, that, you know, in the sim it's hard to be, you know, all by yourself and doing everything, but, you know, when you get into these top levels, you have engineers, you have 2 or 3 strategists for an entire team, and you really start to be able to break everything down to where it's essentially like a real event, but on the sim. And so I know, you know, we're super excited about that, and just being able to kind of delve into our strategy again, because I know we love being able to be a part of these events and really figure out just, you know, just stuff like that, just the intricacies of, you know, real racing. That
Sector 1 is 0.5 off the pace.
Right.
No language now. Language, it's family show.
I muted my mic. You
Yes.
didn't hear the half of it. I am not having very much fun here today.
Oh boy, oh boy. All right, so let's see.
Yeah.
All right, Zach, should we tell them now or tell them later that you're going to give them the ultimate setup? I'm kidding.
It's not set.
No,
you know what? I've tried a million setups.
Zach.
I'm going to go on a little Shaun rant. I already did one, but now you two can hear it. This is, I think this is the second time we've run this stupid car for Hotlap Humpday. And I tell you now.
I didn't think we'd run it.
Have we not? I ran it in something.
No, not this one, not this one.
If we run this car again, I'm telling you right now, I will automatically tell you right now, I will lose my internet that day.
Oh my goodness! It's coming out of the wall.
I will never run this kazoo ever again. No.
Isn't this a fairly new car in iRacing, or no?
Yeah, it's one of the newest.
Very new.
Yeah. It just, I do not like this car. I don't know if it's right or wrong. It's not that. This is personal.
It's just a personal thing. Yeah, we run it in the Extreme Motorsports Series in the World Challenge, and the drivers over there just love it. They're all into it. Yeah, it's funny. It's amazing how we have different tastes, you know, in different cars. I was told a long time ago when I first joined iRacing, if you want to really excel, find the ice cream flavor you like. Find the car that fits you, a car that you feel comfortable with, that you feel like you can excel with, that fits your driving style. And if you like that car, stay with it. And that's, and I did that. Of course, I picked a car that's, probably one of the very first cars to be on. I think it was the third or fourth car, actually, to be on iRacing. Yeah, the old Mustang. I always have to bring it up. My old Mustang girl, I miss her so now that they've pulled her out of the Classic Sprint Series.
So you just described, hey, in a perfect scenario of sim racing, you should go to 31 flavors, try all 31, and then pick your favorite 3 and stick with them.
Exactly.
Well, you've given me coconut raisin for the day, and
I love it. Yep, and with all the toppings that you hate the most, right?
Yeah. Oh my God. Oldest, no, I don't think it's the bumpy version of Daytona. Again, this is personal. Everyone has their own flavor, right? Everyone really does. I'm not here to knock anyone else's flavor. I'm just telling you, I hate coconut raisin. I don't even think they make such a thing. But this car, the Dallara P217 LMP2, is the equivalent to just whatever your absolute least favorite ice cream. This is pineapple and ham and pineapple pizza. This is, I mean, just name your most disgusting thing, and this is my feelings for this car.
Yep, slap a number 7 on the side of it, and that's how you feel right now.
Yeah, I don't even care. It's like, we'll get better. Stop bitching and drive the car. I say that a lot, right? But I can't. I just don't even care enough to try.
Oh, that's funny. That's great. Oh, man.
Yeah. I have friends who worked at Dallara. I'm gonna have to give them a really hard time.
So Zach, do you have any slight tips that you would do to the, let's say, baseline setup here? Any couple of slight tweaks that you would make that you deliver into the old share box there to see if.
Or how about help me get the power down?
Yeah. Let's see if we can. Let's do that. Let's see if we can help Robby get the power down.
So power down wise in this car, especially here. Oh, my hand slipped off the push talk button there. But especially here, this car does not enjoy being in low downforce trim, especially. It very much thrives at tracks like Road Atlanta or Mid Ohio, where you're on like max downforce.
Right.
But power down wise, when you're on a low downforce setup like this, one of the things that I always recommend is definitely messing with the differential. Especially the preload and the ramp angles.
So do you want less preload? Yeah. What's going to make you? It's setting sideways. I pick up the throttle and it's going
exit's clear.
Almost like
but the big difference there for me is the V8 supercar shouldn't
that's exactly
work.
It. So if anything, you want to kind of take some preload out of it, out of the diff, and open it up, and then that should make it a little more stable, especially at those low speed corners, and just prevent that locking.
Okay, I'll go down to 55.
And Shaun, if it makes you feel any better, I very much concur about this car, but
I've not heard Shaun bitch like that. Now they've heard me bitch like that. Put me in one of those stinking wanking front wheel drive low horsepower Miata piece of shit things that we drive all the time that they love. I hate them things. First time I've heard Shaun bitch.
You really want to hear? I'd be in tears if we were to take this car to Silverstone right now. If we did that, if you gave me Silverstone in this car, it would be it'd be Harry Carey before the end.
You like the LMP1?
Much better than this, yeah. You know what? To be honest with you, I'm not a big downforce car guy.
Oh well, that's the problem. That gives me a little Woody. I love it. Downforce is like the ultimate in turn-on.
Oh, Shaun's like me, man. Let's go grab that Mustang.
Yeah, I like sloppy, bad cars. I'm jealous of Zach. The Porsche is like one of my favorite cars in all of my racing.
You know what? I loved that car when it came out. I fell in love with the thing, and we actually ran it in the Hard World Challenge for a little bit, and I got away from it, got busy, and I've just not returned to it. I hear that it's just incredible to drive now. Love to take it back out.
Which one?
The Porsche 911. The Campbell.
Yeah, all those Yeah, I like downforce.
Yeah, that's a cool car. Dak, I have another guest here. I'm gonna bring in the driver. sitting at the top of the board, Mr. Elvis Rankin. I dragged him into the room and let him chat
Oh,
with
is
us for a moment.
he actually good enough to talk to us now?
Well, let's see.
I want to
Let's
hear
see.
Elvis's voice. I haven't heard it in a couple months.
Sector
It
1
sounds
is
like he's
0.50.
27.
Yeah, dude, you know what he did.
Right?
He quit playing with us when he got all serious, because, you know, talking and driving is hard.
Hey,
And
there
then he went to
is.
the front.
Right, then he went to the front. Yes, yeah, we're talking about you, Elvis. How you doing, buddy? Great to have you here tonight with us. Good, man, good. Well, Elvis, what are your thoughts on this here vehicle? I know that you had considered running it.
Sector 2 is 0.7 off the pace.
You seem to be not shying away from it tonight here with this 133.328 on the board there, sitting up top there. Yep. Yeah, well, you know how that goes. Oh, you can. Okay. All right. Elvis, are you using a headset mic, or are you running an ambient mic on your rig?
I think
Okay.
Oh, there he is. Hey, Elvis.
There we go. Now we got you. Yeah, this track is it's probably a little more cantankerous with this car than the new repaved version, isn't it?
Yeah, the bumps are tricky for sure. But I always kind of like the bumps at one time.
That's all I've ever known.
Sector 1 is 0.7 off the pace.
You're gonna share your
Yeah.
setup with us there,
That's right.
Elvis?
Yeah.
I was
That's a good lap. I'm not sure if I can beat it.
it's on Accuforce. I'm doing like 6 in a race. I noticed you're on race, so I was trying, but it's not as easy as it was.
I think I've switched to Q now, so we'll see.
Now I feel better.
Yeah, now you feel yeah, right?
I mean, I can switch.
No.
But I thought
tell
you were
you what.
also a pro driver, right? I said I thought you were in the pro leagues now as well, no? Just on a team.
Yeah, just on the
8th place. That's your quickest lap in this session. That lap time was 1:35.02.
Okay, I can adjust everyone's volume.
Oh
'cause I
no,
can't
Shaun,
in the car,
restart it and get on it.
Which actually gives me a fighting chance at driving the car. That's one of the problems is also, again, I know it might be like a frequency issue. Like, I don't have the best hearing in the world, and I do wear headphones, and I do have to turn the cars down when I scream so that people can hear Kevin and other things. But I'm wondering if it's just a frequency, because I literally can just not even hear the car.
Oh wow, interesting. Yeah, it probably is a frequency. It's
I mean,
just it's in a range that
I do hear it. It's not like it's, but I can't hear it well enough to drive it by an RPM.
Right,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, it's just not resonating
I might as well be in a Formula E car and just learning how to drive without
Right.
audio as an input, right?
Yikes.
I don't even know if that's accurate. Those have audio.
The audio of wind.
Yeah, the wind. Well, and I hear the wind as much as the car here with this car, by the way. Okay, I need to get Elvis way louder. I'm on. Yeah, Elvis, when are you... Okay, so Elvis, no, you're here, and you've made such vast improvement in talent over time. I mean, you were always quick right out of the gate, but then you just got better and better. When do you start making a run for, like, pro ranks? I mean, people are making a living. I know you want to race real cars also, but when do you start making a move for that?
What's the age limit?
13. So it is.
That's your answer.
That's so resin right now, right?
Yeah, I'll go for it. I mean, obviously,
but
I'm obviously doing something right, so.
Yeah, no, I mean, with pace like that, it doesn't take much work at all.
It just takes running the right races, right? I mean,
it's running the right races and learning. I know one of the things that was great about when I started to try and get into into the Porsche Sports Super Cup was that when I wanted, well, one of the things that helped, I should say, is that I didn't have actually a lot of ironing going into the Pro Series last year. So compared to what you really need to be in kind of the top splits where you earn a lot of the points to get into the Pro Series, because I started out probably last August trying to get my ironing up, because it was still really high. It was still around 5,500, but you needed 7,000 or so to get into the higher splits for the Pro Series. And so the great thing was is that I just started running race after race after race in the Porsche Cup car, and then sometimes you'd see guys like Jeremy Boudeloup was in a few of them, Joshua Rogers, Ianchi Guvin, a lot of the guys who are in the series now is just people who I was racing against race after race after race, and I could just learn from them. And it helps so much in just kind of ironing out the last 5% of what I needed to really go for it. And it helped me more than anything, was just racing against guys who are beating me and really learning from them. Yeah.
So Zach, another
constantly being pushed. Go ahead, Shaun.
Oh, I got another question right on that line. So I know, it's part of it is getting your iRating to a certain level, but the other part you mentioned it there was being able to get in the races with the Boudeloops and guys like that. Rogers. So for those who think they've got what it takes, a very simplified version. How do you find out, where that strength of field race is, when it's happening, and do the best to position yourself? So if you are capable of getting an iRating of, 7,000, what's that next step? How do you make sure that you're doing that part?
So it became a lot easier this year because they tend to change the pro qualification formats up every once in a while. And so what they did this year was they said, okay, we're going to take 5 weeks out of the normal iRacing Porsche Cup season and have super sessions on Saturdays for the top 30 in points. And so we talked a lot with a lot of the other kind of high rating drivers, and we said, okay, we're going to do strength of field races at 3:45 p.m. on Wednesday, 1:45 and 3:45 p.m. Eastern Time on Thursday, and then we're also going to do them same times Friday, and then on Saturday we're going to do one.
That's a new fastest lap for Campbell, 1:33.22.
Top 30 in points from there.
Sector 2 is 0.33 off
so
the pace.
It was really kind of just being able to talk about it, and there were a few things on the forums as well. And it's really about just getting in those races. With the way the iRacing points work, it's kind of a lot easier to make the super session.
The track temperature's decreasing. It's now 23 Celsius.
Essentially
the leader's
now
just done it, 1:33.17.
4 different, 7,000 strength of field
That's
races.
your best lap in the session. You're currently 1.6 seconds off the pace. You've just done a 1:34.73.
The super session, and then, which if anyone doesn't know, is a special race iRacing holds on a different time slot compared to the normal races that is restricted to a certain amount of people based on the points from them.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I've heard about that. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then they just did 5 weeks of those and kept they kept track of the points manually of just your result in the super session. And so essentially it just worked like a mini pest season with everyone who made the top 30 in points every single week. And so you ended up racing a lot of the same guys, and essentially you just have to do that and then make the top 20 who score the most points in the super sessions.
Oh, it sounds so easy.
A little
Trust
too
me.
easy.
Trust me, it was not.
I can't imagine. My goodness.
Yeah, it was quite stressful. I ended up so the first race I went out and I ended up actually winning the first super session at I believe it was Okayama was the track, and then the next 2 races I got taken out. Didn't make it past turn 2
God.
2 straight rounds, and that is after doing like 4 SOF races a week to learn, and change the setup a little more and really get down to it, and then just wiped out. And then I got one more podium in the 4th round, which was good enough for which was good enough to lock myself into the series, because the points structure is completely different from the iRacing point structure in the Super Sessions. So it really rewarded doing well, and so having 2 podiums was enough just to.
The guy behind has just done a 135.03.
And then for the 5th and final round, my my wheel broke on that Friday, so I couldn't race Saturday.
Oh gosh.
Or it wasn't the wheelbase; it was the wheel rim had a the coiled USB that that attaches to it broke.
Yep.
But
Yep, that seems to be a commonality across the industry, those cables.
Hey, Robby,
trust me. After
on the 3 corners prior, you had front end lockup, so I'm assuming you got understeer. And then on that one to the back stretch, you didn't get any lockup, and you ended up looping it coming off the corner. And I'm wondering if it was like if the understeer was keeping your nose planted before until then, and then all of a sudden you came through sliding.
I'm wondering if we're not bottom, like, is it not scraping the bottom someplace?
Oh, it's dragging all over, it seems.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
maybe we'd go faster if we weren't in the ground.
I don't know if anything other than aero works here, even with the friction of the ground. It just makes it the car drives like crap. So
Zach, do you have much time in this car and in the P1?
I ran one 24-hour Le Mans in the P1. That is about the only time I've spent in that car. And then I did a little bit of the time in this car when it first came out, but it basically came out and we were right into preparations for the pro qualifiers, so I never actually got a lot of time in it. Sadly, I know this is probably the 4th or 5th time I've driven this car. I got a decent amount of experience just helping the guys test for Petit Le Mans last year.
Yeah. Alright, so here's my question: is why are the P1 and the P2 get floor damage so easy?
That is a question that I ask a lot that I haven't gotten an answer to. But
hey, I'm in the same boat on my team, so.
Yeah, I know we our 24-hour Le Mans, the one year that I ran, was probably one of the had the least amount of luck that I think of any race that I've ever been a part of, because we had HPD that got floor damage on like lap 3 that was irreparable, and the car was like 5 seconds slower. And then we had 3 LMP1s. One ended up in second split, and then I think got crashed literally the first corner. And then the 2 that we were in with top split, my car, well, I was supposed to get in the car at the 3-hour mark or so, and at that point, I think Xfinity had decided that they wanted to do some work on my internet connection for the first 7 hours of the race. So poor Jamie Fluke had to do a 7-hour stint in the car, and then when I finally got my internet reconnected, and I was like, "Hey, I'm so sorry, I'm here," and he's like, "Oh, it's okay. By the way, when you get in the car, the floor's broken and the steering's 45 degrees to the left down the straightaways. But there's no meatball, so..." And, and so I drove that car for about an hour, and I was like, "Listen, we just need to retire the car." And so we got out of it. And then the other LMP1 was doing quite well. I think it was running like 3rd in class or so. And then the driver's internet went down. And the other driver got in the car immediately after and was able to kind of maintain, was running around 5th or 6th, and then his internet went down.
Oh my goodness.
And so at that point, we just decided to give up at like the 10-hour mark. It was just too much.
Oh, that's tough. I mean, yeah, that's like, replacing the engine, getting back out on track, blowing another motor, and then, at some point, luck is not with us on this event. We're out of here.
Yeah, no, that one was one I'd like to forget, but I can't.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we all have those bad memories of events that we've been in. Gosh, yeah. Yeah, those are tough to swallow.
I remember my first endurance race very well.
Right.
Let's see. Spa 24, I think we were like third split. I was doing it with a couple extreme buddies. It was actually the day of my birthday. I did the race. And you know, like this tight Spa pit lane. So I come to do the corner for the rest of the pit lane and pretty much snag the wall and pull an Austin Powers. That's how it's best described.
I've done that a countless amount of times trying to drive around Spa.
It's so much fun.
Yeah, that's one word. Yeah. It's actually one event that I'm considering doing this year, but I'm not sure about yet. Is the Spa 24? Just because it looks like fun, but like I don't tend to like or drive GT3 cars, so it's one I've always kind of steered clear of. But I don't know. This year I'm feeling a little change now that we've moved the World Championship stuff to kind of early in the year. It gives us kind of the whole middle of the year to ourselves and to go run more events like that.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Zach, one thing we've not done is try to get you on video, and I don't know if that's possible. Shaun, is that something that can be done, or?
Oh God, I want to see this.
Or have we exploited all of the screen space? Oh, he did step away. Well, I do see that he's now in his seat there.
I love the bus stop at this track. It's so much fun. I just love Xing. I just love X's so much through there.
It loves to just grab you, doesn't it, with the slightest amount of dirt.
we did this combo at Big C's, and it's so much fun. Especially on a 20x limit for a 40-minute race.
Yeah, right. You can burn them up and nothing flat. Yep.
That is one of my worst habits in the world, is getting off tracks and just running through them.
And have you done endurance races, or?
Yeah. And I tend to, compared to the other drivers on my teams, I tend to treat the instant limit like an instant target.
Right. You just abuse it, eh?
Yeah. I mean, I figure if they give you 100, you might as well use 99 and leave that last one.
Oh, yeah, you bet.
So,
that's great. That's great.
I've certainly done that one before.
You can ask Kevin, but I used to be the incident king.
Yep, you and John Allen used to have quite the battle.
I did the Spot 24, and then I came back that a different man.
I know one of my buddies has the, I think the instant record for the Spot 24, or did for a while. He went in and got, intentionally, before there was an instant limit, he got 1,184 incidents, all by himself.
Yeah, that sounds like fun.
That
my safety rating.
Yep, that's just abusing that track, man.
Yeah, he got down to, I think, he went from an A 499 to a D 0.9.
Oh my gosh.
And I think his average incidents on road are still skewed to like this day.
Right.
Because it was normal. It was like 5-6 before, and then it shot up to like 25, and he's done
all clear on pit exit.
It's still at like 20, and you just can't get it down.
That's funny. That is funny. Well, Elvis, you are still maintaining
Wait, hold on.
P1.
This
lap. Oh boy, here we go. Knock another one down. That little car into the bus stop now. Good launch. Oh, did you get the X?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
This is gonna be like a 7 too. This is the
Oh man. Okay. So Elvis, frustrated with his bus stop entry there, picking up a 1X, eliminating that wall time that he has as he comes to the line. What would it have been? An 809, a 32.809?
Yeah. I have the optimal, I have the pace, I just can't put it together, and now I'm gonna go green again. Sick.
All right, well, do it. Let's see you make it clean. Zach Campbell joining us here with a 133.202. Great to have Zach with us. Aldous Putelis, I believe is how he pronounces his name, with a 133.528. driving that number 13 here tonight. Cameron Martino sitting P4 on the qualifying board with a 133.545 as we speak. Andrus, listen, I tell you, Andrus has been quite
Okay, Shaun, there's a car exit in the pits, heads up.
Hot Lap Challenge since, I believe September last year. He started coming out and joining us here in the Hot Lap Humpday Challenge. And boy, he's been one threat every single third Wednesday when we're here each month. You can always count on Andrus being up there in the top 5. Chris Generelli coming in with a 134 flat. He's been sitting there with that for some time now, holding down that P5 position, or P6 rather, up on the board. Shaun Cole holding down P7 with his 134.729. And Joe Antonio, great to have Joe out. He's a regular in our Hot Lap Humpday Challenge, coming in with 135.026. Robby Unser sitting right behind him, holding down P9, I believe it is. Check here. P8, actually. That number 7 tonight, Robby doing a great job with a 135.172. David Wing, a newcomer to your P10 now. Okay, got you. David Wing sitting P11 and then 087 for the 135.221. Andrew White joining us in his number 3 this evening with a 135.848. And John G. Hill.
Sector 2 is 0.35 off the pace.
Just outside the bubble there for P12. Again, we're going to take the top 12 drivers coming up here momentarily. We are about 30 minutes out getting into our final event tonight, which will be a rule race segment, 2 15-minute events with a 5-minute warm-up in between. And Robby, I apologize. I mentioned earlier we were thinking 8 laps. I was thinking about a 12-minute event.
You're currently 1.1 seconds off the leader's
I had to do the math.
Sector 3 time is fast.
Numbers there, but I'm thinking somewhere around 11 laps, 10 to 11 laps to get it done here tonight at Daytona. Running the 2008 version of the road course here. This is the one with, we'll just call it severe undulation that had occurred over time when this track was originally scanned back in 2007. Prior to the new repaved version being laid down here. Of course, iRacing offering both versions. You can find the 2008 version under the legacy portion of the track selected here on iRacing. But if you want to drive the newer paved version, that is available as well to members.
This is better than the chicane, I give you guys that.
Yeah, right?
That thing was so much fun. Zach, I'm gonna ask you on the pro races, is the first lap like a wreck avoidance challenge?
Depending on where you start, yes. It's when you put 40 guys who are all within hundreds of another, it's just kind of inevitable. So, starting probably 15th on back is treated like it's the gulag. You don't want to be there at all. So normally top 15, it's extremely clean. Everyone's super respectful, but kind of once you get towards like
your last lap time was at 134.43.
That's when it can almost kind of depend on the track how if you're getting through or not. I know I've been unfortunate enough to be caught up in a few first lap accidents this year, but yeah, that again, it's just all about kind of execution and qualifying is almost what it goes back to, is that that's what you end up focused on just a bunch, and it's to avoid that situation.
Right. A little bit of a Warzone reference, I see ya.
Yeah.
Well, we want to welcome each and every one of you to the February edition for 2021 of the Ricmotech Hotlap Humpday Challenge. Great to see everybody out tonight as we start to wind.
Sometimes we'll see, everyone get through completely clean, and sometimes it'll be a complete mess. So it's
there's traffic
really
approaching. Watch your mirrors.
On the day.
Blue flag.
Gotcha.
So did you find something in setup, Shaun, or in driving?
Just driving, yeah. I turned up the engine a little louder. Hear a little better now.
So are you in first gear and all the slow stuff?
No. I am on turn 2 or 3, left-hander. But I've been trying to roll second. I've been just not getting the power down well.
How about you, Zach? You run
Zach,
like...
you posted that setup in the box, right?
Yeah. I am doing first gear through both the slope corners. Coming back onto the oval, I'm doing it second.
Back onto the oval is second, but the right-hander, the two right-handers in the infield are first.
Correct.
All right. Careful, still there. All clear on the right.
Trying to figure the second one out. The bumps in the braking zone are much more severe than the new version, so it definitely makes that a lot trickier.
Man, you're just reading my mind, aren't you?
Apparently.
You know what they say, great minds think alike.
Absolutely.
Hey, I finally didn't X the bus stop and I'm actually going to be green.
Oh, we find ourselves about 25 minutes out, guys, from getting ready for that dual 15.
Sector 1 is 0.31 off the pace. The leader has just done a 133.06.
Right now we find the number 3 of Andrew White sitting in that bubble spot right now. P12 1.5.848 up on the board. And right behind him, John G. Hill, man, he's really trying to fight his way into that 12 spot. Of course, now we see Brian Osher, he's now moved into P13, so he's sitting just outside the bubble with a 136.024.
I've never tried so hard to pump it.
As we wind down into the final few minutes, we try to keep the radios quiet for the drivers in the sim so they can concentrate on getting that those last few tenths and hundredths of a second out there to work their way into that top 12 leaderboard here. Again, right now we're seeing, let's see, Shaun Cole sitting up there in P6, it looks like, and that number 39 tonight. 7th? Yeah, okay, yeah, there we go, P7, yep. David Clymer in P8. Great to see David out there, and that's a familiar scene, isn't it, Shaun? The two of you guys duking it out.
Yeah, we're
always within a couple tenths. Yeah, you guys are, no doubt about it. Of course,
actually, the 4 of us, me, generally, Clymer, and Antonio, those 4 guys are usually pretty packed together when we run in our leagues, too.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Nice. I need to come over and join you guys in the Mustang one of these Tuesday nights. What do you do that? Like every 3 weeks or so? Oh, who said that? Somebody
yeah, Elvis
said
said it was time for you.
Oh, Elvis said it. Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, every other Tuesday. So
New fastest lap for Campbell, 133.04.
We run 305 sprint cars.
Fun.
You know, let's say one Tuesday, and the next Tuesday we're in the Mustangs. Obviously, different leagues.
Yes, for sure. I would imagine. Yeah, bit of a different audience there.
Even for mixed discipline, that would be pretty extreme.
Oh, yes, no doubt
Kevin,
about it.
if you ever decide to do it, let me know and I'll come do it with you.
Oh, gosh,
Mustang, I will try, though.
Oh, I have a feeling you will be giving me lessons on it sooner or later. But yeah, I need to get back into that.
I have to run it with an auto clutch, so I'm not.
Yeah. Oh, now. No. We are not doing that, my friend. We will get you into that clutch. We're going to get you set up. You have a stick shift there, I hope.
Nope.
The protecting's clear.
We're gonna have
I run the Mazda with paddles, man.
See what I deal with, Zach. You see what I have to face. I try to get that stick shift, and so many of these young guys.
I had one, now I don't. So
yeah.
It's not even an option.
I'm in the same boat. I hate to say it. I hate to admit it, but
when I upgraded everything last year,
that was something that wasn't in the budget.
It wasn't. It just didn't make it in, huh?
I'll give you both cover, man. There's not a single, even that fancy SSH, or not as that red shifter. I can't remember its name right now. Even that thing doesn't do shifting justice. It's like, nah, there's no shifter, clutch, or anything in Sim that operates right. You don't need to do that.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
When they give me a servo lockout when you miss shift, I will
That's
when I will eat
wanna
my
see.
words,
Yep.
and I will then praise shifting in sim racing. Until then, it's like, what? I mean, if you want an H pattern, I'm not knocking it, but what a waste.
Yeah, I know, right, exactly. Yeah, because you just it's still somewhat of a pretend situation, really.
Exactly.
I mean,
And
you're going
else
through the motions.
And everything else
I
is
do
gone
have
so
to
good.
approaching. Don't cross the
Yeah,
line.
right,
Blue flag.
exactly. That is certainly one element where we do lack in technology. So,
Yeah.
hint, Mr. Frank Rico there at Ricmotech. Let's get ourselves a good ship.
My guys give me a super hard time about that too in our Mazda Mustangs.
Right.
Oh, Shaun and his paddle shifters. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but I will say though, there is definitely definitely time to be gained by using a manual shifter in that Mustang.
Yeah, if you do it
There
right
is no
in that
question.
car.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
maybe
'cause you
just
polish it.
because I drove it so long and pretty much know the car like when I go to sleep at night, I count Mustangs. I don't count Sheens. So.
Here's my thing with shifting in Sims. It doesn't do anything to actually help you when you go get your new car. Not one bit.
Not one bit. No, I get that. Absolutely, there's a huge disconnect there. Absolutely. Yeah, there is definitely a huge disconnect there.
So Elvis, am I gonna get to run your setup here?
You'd have to ask my boss.
I just did.
I'm my boss, man. I wasn't the one who put the time in on this.
Oh, see how it is. Yeah.
That's
No,
awful.
I would be
You're
for it.
pretty
Like I
young
said,
to be learning the BS that way. I mean,
Right.
bats in the butt.
Zach, are you on TV?
Yeah, and let me tell you, you got that part absolutely down. That answer was perfect.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
No, I am, as my team will call me, I'm the king of getting setups. So
Yeah.
I know it very well. I know how people respond to it.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, no, that is dead on.
Yeah, it is. There's no question. Yep. You have to respect that. I mean,
I do for sure.
Yeah.
Respect what?
Thank you, John. Just the setups, the time that that a team or guys put into setups, because it can be as we know. I mean, we sit here and do this the third Wednesday of every month and drive ourselves crazy for 2 hours.
Maybe those guys should go find a different game called Sim Engineering.
Oh, right. There you go.
Listen, you joke. As an engineering student, I would absolutely play that.
Well,
wouldn't that
every
be
day.
great? Zach, that would be right up your alley.
Well, and to be fair, I think that it's a different part of racing entirely. I mean, it's like, well, I don't have to play fuel guy here, do I? I don't have to change tires, but yet I do have to be an engineer. I'm still at odds with that question in sim racing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Zach sounds like a car simulator kind of guy.
A what?
Yeah.
Car mechanic simulator kind of guy.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
love Car Mechanic Simulator, by the way. I do love that game.
Yeah. No, one of the things about sim racing that I see is kind of this trend that everything is going towards a lot closer to fixed setup racing as kind of time goes on. I think if you look at the Road World Championships now, you have the Porsche, which you can adjust ARBs, really only front toe, because rear toe you're locked on one setting, rear wing, and camber, and that's it. And you're kind of locked down just to that. And then you also look at the IR01, which is very basic on the setup as well. And so it's definitely come a long way from the F1 days, where the MP430 was very much focused on the engineering aspect and the strategy aspect of things, and it's becoming more fixed over time, which I haven't decided if that's a good or a bad thing. The engineer in me says it's a bad thing, but the driver in me says it's a good thing.
I suppose it also depends on the environment. Like you said, when you're at that top level, finding or being part of a top team isn't all that difficult. You know, there's enough active recruiting of decent drivers, so it's not like there's a lot of great racers sitting on the sidelines going, I can't find a team. So at least at that level, you have those resources. But I'm sure there are some who would get to those ranks if they just had a few little setup tricks in them, and you know, without it, they might not get there either.
Yeah, I mean, I was extremely fortunate to where when I jumped into road racing, I went from just doing it for fun on the side of the NASCAR stuff to on one of the best road teams there is in 6 months, and so it was very fortunate. And it's really all about developing those relationships. One of the things that I've noticed is that a lot of guys at the top level like to be very closed in on just hanging out with their teammates, just talking with their teammates, which is something that I despise. I will talk to anyone and everyone, maybe except for like 5 people in PES. And I enjoy conversation. I enjoy talking to these guys. I mean, the bottom line is we all love sim racing. We may disagree about a few things, but we all love it. So I'm always a fan of just kind of talking and socializing, and part of that socializing aspect is you end up kind of almost peering into kind of each other's situations and how they are on certain teams and what they're doing setup-wise and what they're doing. Development-wise is an odd word to say because it's not so much developing the cars, developing kind of your philosophies around setups. But it's certainly interesting to kind of speak to others and see.
Looks like you're clear on the pit exit.
Even at the top level when you're also close.
Blue flag.
Everyone has certain little caveats and little oddities. Even when there's not much that you can do and not much to change.
Sure. Well, I mean, I think the thing that I've realized after many, many years of sim racing is that the setup, you know, and I heard you talking earlier about how much is setup versus equipment. You put a lot of the weight on setup, and it's like, I agree with you, but on the other hand, I feel like that's only a difference maker at your level. You know, like, so for example, I'm running Zach's setup right now, and I am 1.2 seconds slower. And that's about my normal from like alien speed to my level of racing. It's usually about just a touch over 1 second, depending on the size of the track. And it's like, that's normal. And it's not setup dependent, it's driving ability dependent. Now, on the other hand, looking at the difference between guys I race with all the time, me, David, Clymer, Joe Antonio, and Chris Generelli, you see we're all very close. But the setup could be the difference between those guys of somewhat equal talent. It's not going to find me the 1.5 seconds to make a Zach lap time. And anybody who thinks that the really super fast guys are that much faster because the setup, it's like, well, no, they're not. So my next question to you, Zach, is do you think that if the top league all of a sudden tomorrow was switched to a fixed setup, there'd be that much shakeup in the rankings?
No. I think it's hard to say because we're so locked down on the Porsche Cup car right now that it can't really change much, but I don't think it changed at all. I think you'd see Sebastian, I think you'd see Josh be Sebastian and Josh and be the 2 people week in, week out who are the best, who are going to be 1-2. And I think if it switched to fixed setup, I think you'd see more shakeup on the NASCAR side than anything because the NASCAR side is so open when it comes to setup stuff. I think the sad part is that I think a few of the...
Sector 1 is 0.7 off the pace.
I am a big proponent of having open setups. But I think the sad part about having open setups is that I see guys like in the eNASCAR series looking from the outside in. Not to say, you know, I think Bobby and Mitchell and Keegan and the guys with the best sets out there and Michael Connie are the best there is. But if you did switch to fixed setups, I think you'd see guys like Graham Boland and Nathan Lyon and guys like that really get up there and really challenge week in, week out, which, you know, it's something that I think would be interesting to see, but it's something that I think when you're at the top level and you're at a world championship, I don't think it can be fixed setup and still kind of maintain its kind of in a way its stature.
Right.
Because not to say that fixed racing is lesser, it doesn't take as much to win, but it almost kind of makes it less complex than what we're doing right now.
Sure, fair enough. So you're a young racer. I ask Elvis, do either of you know who Gregor Hutu is?
I do. My
Absolutely.
team knows me very well.
Okay, just making sure. Just still
Absolutely,
making sure
yes.
that's a relevant name in sim racing.
Yeah, that is.
Relevant, maybe not, but I do know who he
Well,
is.
that makes it still relevant. If
Yeah.
you know who he
Exactly.
is, then...
I know who he is because he used to be relevant.
Okay,
So wouldn't that make him irrelevant now? No offense to Gregor.
I don't know.
he's amazing, but
You could argue...
I don't think he's
you
drove
could-
in like 3 months.
Josh Rogers
I'm
is
going
making
hard,
a
Joe.
hell of an argument against it, but you could still argue that Gregor Hutu is the greatest of all time. But my big joke on sports, and this is how much sim racing has changed in the last 5 years. In 1963, now I am 5'5", and I don't have a lot of hops, and I'm white. But in 1963, I probably could have played NBA basketball. Okay, 1943. I'm just saying, there was a point in time where even a 5'5" white guy could play in the quote-unquote NBA. And I think that Gregor Hutu was truly the greatest of all time by over a decade of dominance. But it was at a time when a bunch of 5'5" guys were playing the sport. Now, he would have to do the same thing against 100 guys of that similar talent.
Of that caliber.
Yeah, and so it's really changed in 5 years to where, you know, and you hear the same argument about any sport when you start talking greatest of all time. It's like, well, would those guys have hit home runs against modern pitchers?
Hey, Schumacher, Hamilton, same thing now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But you could make a certain argument as things got better that, well, yeah, even looking at Schumacher era, I don't know if the whole talent pool was as deep as it is today. So yes, greatest of all time, absolute Schumann. What are you gonna say? But now, I mean, any one of those guys in that whole thing are just unbelievable, like, drivers that, you know, back then would have probably won the whole thing too.
Well, but they always, so I gotta disagree a little bit.
I was waiting for you to chime in.
All right, let's hear it. Let's hear it. All
Be a
right,
pro
everybody
driver,
listen
yeah.
up. We have 9 minutes remaining before the duel of the
Yes!
best, so there you go.
That's
I'm
a
out.
flat
It's
right
just
there.
132.92.
I've done
But
so many
like
better than that, I
Schumacher.
just X him.
You know, you had Mansell, Prost,
Right.
Senna. I mean, don't forget, Schumacher was the guy behind Senna when he died.
Right.
You get what I mean? So, your top 5 were every bit as hard as it is today, maybe stronger.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. That is...
I mean, dude, you go look at what Senna was running again, or Senna, Schumacher, Mansell. I mean, holy crap, dude, there was that was one of the most heady years of talent that we've ever had, actually.
Right.
You know what I mean? So yes, was the fall off maybe a little bit more when you got back to 6th or 7th? Sure.
Right,
But-
but that top 5 could hang
Dude,
on
let me
any
tell
grid
you.
in all of time.
They'd be making this little kid now a little kid. You know what I mean?
Right?
Yeah.
Love it.
I don't buy it.
All
You know
right.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shaun,
Point well made. Point, Robby.
Yes, absolutely. I think when you apply it to sim racing, it's always a moving target. So it becomes, it's a little hard to judge.
Sure, Gregor would have stepped up
Yeah.
his game even more had the competition been that much stronger, right?
Yeah, and I think one of one of the great things that I've seen in sim racing was Gregor being able to win races and finish. I think he finished 4th, or well, I'm not sure where he finished in the championship, but I know he finished pretty high up there in 2018 against Coanda in the Formula 1 race, which was an insane team, an insanely talented engineering-wise, setup-wise, everything, and driver-wise, especially with Kroenke. And Gregor being able to kind of compete almost on his own.
All right, drivers, we're coming into the final 6.5 minutes here remaining before we get ready for our dual 15 race session. Again, we're looking at the top 12 drivers making it into that final event, and right now that's Brian Ostrich sitting there with a 134.
Kind of open wheel cars his whole sim racing career.
Right.
And so
yeah, that's the other thing is people get, I mean, you know, there's cars in real life. Yeah, I'm not the greatest in.
Sure.
I was damn hard to beat in hill climb cars and rally cars, though. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, and then you got to look at like Franchini. Franchini quit. Basically, Dario got retired with the advent of paddle shifts and 2 pedals. Okay, because where Dario was frickin' brilliant, was his footwork.
Right.
So he didn't like it. He said, "Screw this." I mean, he really got out of it because of that aspect of it. I mean,
No,
you know what I mean? He did the left foot brake.
Right. Yeah, you'll see people who in changes, or another one you'll see like the rain. There are guys who just like the rain comes out and all of a sudden they're monsters, you know, and guys who are maybe some of the fastest all of a sudden aren't so gifted. You know, game changer type things like that. Here, we got 5 minutes. I'll be right back, you guys. You guys keep chatting.
That sounds good, Shaun.
I'm not sure I have much more time here, but yeah. I mean, it's an interesting conversation to have because I think you look at a guy like Martin Kroenke, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, well, Martin's not as good as he used to be because he had that perfect season in F1 and all this," and started playing almost kind of. It almost became a game to him, winning races, because he'd see how few incidents he could get, and he'd get really angry if he got one over the course of a race.
My goodness.
He was just that good, and
that's something.
Yeah, and.
Good.
People are like, he's not as good now. But it's like, well, now we're in a car where everyone's so close. And then he also is a student as well, and he's working off 1/10 of the practice of everybody else. Right. So the fact he's able to compete is just incredible.
Yeah.
Because I know he finished, I think, like, 5th or 6th at Spa last year on 2 hours of practice when everyone else is 20 plus. Like, it's just robotic. It's
it's amazing when you come across somebody that has that just innate talent in balance and senses that are just robotic, like you say. They can go out and run lap after lap after lap, and you can look at telemetry and it's like just the same line going around the track every lap. Nothing varies. I mean, it's it's amazing.
Yeah, and I think I personally believe that Josh Rogers is probably the best sim racer of all time. Just because I've never seen someone so demoralizingly fast in a way.
Okay,
because,
sure.
Like, going up against him, there's a reason he has, I think it's 18 out of the 23 poles ever in the Porsche Tangor Esports Super Cup.
Okay, well, there you go, sure.
And when everything's so close, it becomes just almost insane how fast he is. The best drive that I've ever seen out of anybody in any World Championship race, I maintain, was Rogers at Montreal in 2019. Because that was back when basically like the field inverted after qualifying. So he qualified pole by a lot and then got put back to 8th at Montreal, which isn't an easy track to pass at. He got crashed at the start of the feature race and then came back to win. because he was putting in laps that were 7 to 8 tenths faster than the rest of the field.
Wow.
Which
Oh my goodness.
was just like incredible to watch.
That'll humble you real quick.
Yeah, and so I've never. Yeah, and I mean it'll be, you know, I think Sebastian Job is writing his own kind of page or making his own case there too, because like
Sure.
I put in what I felt like was an extremely good qualifying lap at Imola earlier this season, which was 100th.5 off Rogers.
Go ahead, David.
15 thousandths off Josh Rogers. And then
Wow.
Sebastian put in a lap that was
Thanks for
10
telling.
faster than both of us. Which was just like, I don't know if it could have been better. It was just that incredible.
That's amazing.
It's stuff like that where you see that.
Yeah.
I think everybody who's competing in the series right now ranks those two higher than everyone else.
Interesting.
Yeah. Although
So
and I think that's just road racing wise, because I think it's hard to look at it road racing wise versus oval and
Oh,
who's
sure.
the
It's
best
two
ever.
different worlds.
Yeah.
Yeah, they very, very much so are two different worlds. Different, very different style of driving. Very different attack of the track. It's a different balance of the cars. You know, outside of when a road course is tossed into an oval series, but yeah, when you look at just oval competition and you go to road competition, they are very different worlds.
Yeah, and I mean that's why I rank versatility very highly in a driver, and that's why I think probably the best sim racer right now, period, I maintain is Mitchell DeYoung, because he's able to compete in everything. Period.
Yeah, sure.
Because you see, he goes out there, and I think he finished like 10th in his first ever NASCAR race. He was winning the
That's
pro
the end of the session.
qualifiers in that.
8th place.
And he's also, I think second in points or third in points in Porsche and winning Rallycross. It's just insane.
Oh, fuel. Any idea how much fuel?
Probably at least 11 gallons.
How many laps?
15 minutes, he thinks 12 laps.
Zach, are you doing the race?
I think I'm gonna have to head out here soon, so
Well, there are two short ones at 15 minutes if you can make it.
I'm not sure. I'm gonna play it safe and just say that I think whoever is 13th can go.
11
Oh, it's-
gallons, Robbie?
Yeah.
Zach, we do appreciate you being with us, buddy.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming out tonight, and what a great conversation we had this evening. This was wonderful to have the company here.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I've
thank you.
very much enjoyed it, and definitely enjoyed watching Elvis as well. I've been really impressed. How old are you, Elvis?
13.
God, that's just insane. You're much better than I was at 13, and incredibly quick. So yeah, no, I'm intrigued, and I'll definitely keep my eye out for you in the future.
Fantastic. Well, Zach, thank you for being with us. We're going to get our grid on, if you will.
Yeah. So,
all right, buddy. Best of luck to you out there in the series, and hopefully we'll see you back here soon for another Hot Lap Hump Day.
Yep. Thank you. I'll leave y'all to it. Thank you so much for having me, and I've really enjoyed talking to y'all tonight.
All
Nice
right,
talking to you,
great.
Zach.
Yeah.
Thanks again. Yeah.
Yep. See you guys.
You too, buddy. Take care. Be safe. All right, here we go. We're getting ready for our start here.
Celsius. The track temp is 22 Celsius.
I gridded because he left. I was 13.
Yes.
But we
Hold
did-
position behind
Luckily, I
safety
heard
car
that.
in the right lane.
Four, 6, 8, 10,
So
11.
y'all feel free to all crash.
Every last one.
Man, I was all ready to go crack a beer open. You're all messing my night.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I haven't snowmobiled in 20 years. I'm going tomorrow.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, it might be the last time you guys talk to me.
Right. That's great. I love it.
I'm surrounded by all my buddies.
We're doing 2 15-minute races, right?
Correct.
Oh, you guys are gonna starve me.
The fuel?
I'm
Food.
not eating dinner yet.
Oh, food.
I was ready to have a beer and he left, so that's where I'm at. I'm with you. I was gonna watch.
So are there 2 t-shirts on the offer?
Kevin like disappeared right at the most critical.
How about 4 t-shirts? Hey!
Hey, Kevin, you do realize the race is about to begin, right?
I'll just try and impersonate him, I guess.
Shaun, are you not hearing me in the sim?
I was
there
not
he is.
hearing-
There he
Oh, I
is.
have you muted in the sim.
You got me muted in the
it's
sim.
all
I'm
teams.
giving
It's all
driver
teams.
instructions.
How come I'm
Oh,
not
wait, I
seeing-
missed
That
all of
was
them.
my, because
Wait.
I'm not hearing you
Yeah,
either.
No, you
It's
weren't.
cause all teams gets me a jump whenever you jump in the car.
But I didn't. Usually, if you're muted, I would see your name and a muted sign to let me know
Right.
you were talking, so I could
Right.
unmute you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes,
I didn't see even you
so-
could key up.
So if you go to your, I think it's F-tab, it's radio, and where he was talking.
I have it on drivers, which means I should hear any chat.
Hey, yay! I get to get my invert.
Still not hearing you, Kevin, if you're talking.
Robbie, just finish last and then
Elvis
you can start
heard me.
first and then block.
Say
I
that
don't know why
again.
you're not hearing me.
I said
So,
just finish last and then block. And then
I'll go over the instructions
Finish
here.
last
so
and block. That I can do.
Yep.
Yeah, you know that in the second race.
That's
Just
the
do
only
that.
thing I can do.
Yeah, that's
Well, let's
easy.
see. Am I calling this race because all 3 of you are in it? I love it.
Yeah, I can
you're
call it with you,
calling
Kevin.
it.
I can call it with you, Kevin.
Oh
Phone
my
off.
God. Well,
But I'm not
understand.
hearing you in the sim, Kev. I don't know what's up.
Huh.
So
Well,
make
that's
sure
a
just
lot.
don't mute yourself in TeamSpeak for us.
Okay. All
'Cause
right.
I ain't
Okay.
hearing you.
All right.
I don't know what the
Okay.
hell's going on.
All right.
So I should have laid back, man, and got a run at you guys. I'm
right,
like
right.
220.
Is it on green or on leader? On green or on leader?
All right. Here we go. It's leader controls the start.
Okay, Shaun, here we go.
Green, green,
Flooring,
green.
green, green, green.
Green, green, green drivers. Green, green, green. All right. Here we go. Watch our field break loose down into turn 1. Let's see who's going to get the jump here. Of course, Elvis ranking right out front there. Running in second place, we have Aldous Putelli holding down
almost did
second in that number 13. Cameron Martino holding down P3. And that number 10 as we come into International Horseshoe here. Oh, we've got a driver around. That looks like Andrew Slizzin is losing the back end there.
David Clymer.
Coming out of the corner. Was that David Clymer that put around?
Climber.
Yeah, Clymer. Elvis Rankin doing a nice job into the West Horseshoe now coming out of turn 5. Aldous holding down P2. Cameron still holding down P3.
How did I just get that big of a gap? Do I have seriously that much more power out of that corner?
Oh, Elvis opening up a huge gap coming out of the infield there up onto the banking out of turn 6. See him now making a run down into the familiar bus stop here. Guess we should have told Elvis that we're only allowed 1 incident here. I'm kidding, Elvis. Ignore that.
I've already used it. I'm sorry.
Aldous feeling a little bit of pressure now from Cameron Martino as he sneaks up onto the back end. Oh, yeah, he's going to make a move to the outside coming out of NASCAR 4. Cameron in that number 10 now, that red, white, and black machine. Side by side now as they come to the stripe.
Okay, Shaun, keep it
Cameron,
nice and smooth.
Cameron
Come on,
going to try to
race
get it
coming
done on
us.
the outside.
P5.
Aldous is going to hold him off and maintain P2 there. Aldous doing a great job on the bottom side. Cameron just settling back in. He's going to maintain that P3 position. Try to utilize that draft a little bit. Back there in P4, though, Anders Lissen's making a strong run here. Get back up to that second and third position. They make their way through the kink now, heading down into West Horseshoe. Shaun Cole, man, running strong in that number 39, that familiar number 39. Shaun doing a tremendous job now, getting a nice run through Apex there at West Horseshoe, looking to get back up into the draft. That's going to be critical for him now, coming up into turn 6.
Ooh, there's a wreck coming.
Oh, big wreck. Shaun getting around it there. That looks like Cameron Martino is around. Cameron trying to get that car moving, getting that number 10 back up onto the banking. Oh, unfortunate spin there for Cameron. Here we go. We got a battle going into the bus stop now. Shaun Cole going to feel some pressure from Chris Ginarelli as he sees Andrew Slissen's trying to make a move there.
Kevin, is it bad if I've already used 2/3 of the incidents I used in like 150 laps?
It absolutely is. This will be your first warning there, buddy.
The leader has just done a 133.52.
Well, I'm not going to let that number be known there,
B3.
pal.
That's all I need.
That's all I need, right? Elvis coming into International Horseshoe now. Aldis trying to make the run at Elvis, getting a nice run through Apex there. We look back at Shaun Cole and Chris G, we'll call him there. Chris Ginarelli getting a good run up out of the Apex here of International. Trying to hold that draft of Shaun and that number 39. Shaun making a great showing here tonight. Ryan Ostrich back there in P5. Having a good run himself. Getting a nice run there through T5.
He's not doing bad in the car he calls the kazoo.
Ah, yes. Very true, very true. All right, Shaun and Chris coming out of NASCAR 2 now. Heading towards that bus stop. Heading into turn 10 here for the road course. Now heading up to turn 11 and 12. NASCAR 3 and 4, most commonly known here at Daytona. Shaun doing everything he can to break that draft for Chris Ginarelli, but I think he's going to pick it up here. Coming out of NASCAR 2 now, heading down the front straightaway. Stands are on their feet as they see the 39 being swallowed up now by that number 11. Chris going to back off a little bit here, though. He's going to utilize Shaun's draft, I think, to try to make a run here to catch these guys up front. Not a huge gap between our leaders. Otis Butelli getting a nice run here through the kink, trying to make up some ground now. Elvis getting a good run up onto the banking here, holding a nice commanding lead. Aldis now coming up onto the banking, so it's about a 2.5 second gap.
It's actually a 4 seconds.
4 second gap now as they come around turn 2 out of the NASCAR banking down onto that very exciting backstretch as fast as it is. Heading into the bus stop. Did you get through there, Elvis, without a 1X?
Nope. I did get through there last lap without a 1X, so that's a pog.
Shaun Cole still holding down P3 with Chris Ginarelli losing a little bit of time there. Shaun getting a great run out of the bus stop. See if he can maintain that distance. Chris going to try to slide up into that pocket of air. Looks like he's got to move on it now. Boy, that draft is just amazing with these B2 cars.
It's definitely like cutting through the wind, like how you cut through cheese, Kevin.
I see that. I see that now. I have not spent a single minute in this car, if you can believe that.
Really?
That's why you have not heard me speak too much about it tonight.
Do you even own it?
I do own it. I do own it. I bought it for some graphic images is all we needed for our website. But yeah, I've not actually turned a lap in this car.
I also believe, Kevin, that Joe Antonio has worked it out for the first race because of an accident.
Oh no, that's good.
That's unfortunate. Very easy to do in this LMP2. Very easy to just lock those rear tires up, especially with the bumps in this track.
Well, sure, you get that air and lifting that rear end up off the ground in a brake zone is almost dangerous. Definitely need to brake in a straight line under those conditions.
I've already used more X's than I did the entire Spot 24.
Big battle here between P9, P8, and P7. Cameron Martino making a run back here in that red, white, and black number 08. Or I'm sorry, no, he's in the 10 car here this evening. Cameron feeling a lot of pressure.
Don't be intimidated by this little shit. Make it work for it.
As well as David Wing. David in that 087 blue and white machine. Looks like a very dark royal blue machine. He's very close to getting up into the draft of Climber. Now Climber getting a big run up onto Cameron Martino there. Looks like he's going to ease back and roll off the throttle. Now that the three of them have hooked up completely now. Coming down into turn one, I think we'll see them working together a little bit more here as they try to make a run on Robby Unser. Robby having a great P6 solid run here tonight as he drops that car down into the apex of the International Horseshoe. Gets a nice launch up off the corner there. They head down into the kink. Turn 4. Ultimately down into P5. Very difficult corner to find the apex here. Robby doing a nice job just tapping that curbing on the inside. Beautiful track out. Lays that left rear tire right onto that strip there. Comes in a little bit deep and a little bit wide through turn 6 here to get that run up onto the banking, but he actually lays it in really nicely.
Hold your line.
He needs to keep that gap here as they are starting to creep up onto the rear end as Cameron Martino and that number 10, 242 of Climber, both of those guys trying to make a run here at Robby. Andrew Slissen's doing everything he can to make up ground. Andrew's a driver that has competed in this competition for about 8 months now. Has really shown strong in every single event. It doesn't seem to matter what kind of track car combination we throw at Andrew. Always a strong.
The lap time was at 1:35.
Taking a little bit of that dirt. You know, he popped an X there. It might have even gotten a slowdown as we see Andrews backing off the throttle a little bit.
You know, one of the things that I'm finding, Kevin, from inside the cockpit is the tires getting better.
Oh, really?
They get better as the run goes on.
Start to cycle in a little bit?
Yeah, well, they take a little bit to cycle in, but the more you drive them, the better they get. And then right towards about the end of that kind of first fuel load, you kind of start to feel the drop-off.
Gotcha,
and strap on some new, more fuel and kind of let the tires cool off and they're back good to go. And these things
Is that right? Interesting.
It does not have bad tire wear for this car. I also, last lap, did not have an X, so that's a positive.
Oh, very nice, very nice. Oh, we've got quite a battle going on back here. David Climber is side by side back here, coming through 6. Cameron Martino feeling some pressure.
How much longer do we have?
We have 4 minutes. 4 minutes remaining. 4 minutes and 10 seconds.
Okay, Shaun,
quite a
hold
battle
your
now.
nerve, just keep it smooth.
Out
No
of NASCAR
mistakes.
2, Robby Unser feeling the pressure. All 3 of them. David Wing, all right together here, coming down into the bus stop.
How many laps left, you think?
On your right.
Oh, I'm guessing
Still
you're going
there.
to get
Clear right.
white
That was at
flag.
1:36,
Not this
1:10.
time by, but next time by.
Whenever if you
No, you got 2 laps. 2 laps and
If
then
you-
white flag.
Okay.
If you're
All right.
just crossing the stripe, it's 4 to go.
4 to go. Okay. All right, running bumper to bumper here as we see him coming down into 1. David Wing, Robby Unser, David Climber, Cameron Martino, all stacked up in a train.
Oh, I saw you guys.
Ryan Ostrich now has opened up a little bit of gap on Cameron Martino. Those four back there trying to close that distance. Chris Ganarelli, Shaun Cole still in that battle. Coming through turn 6 up onto the banking. One of my favorite parts of this course here. Just use all that camber to your advantage to slam that car into that banking, and that throttle is planted. Coming out of turn 2. Boy, Shaun got a beautiful run out of turn 6. Chris Ganarelli trying to close up that gap, but he's lost quite a bit of that distance. I don't know if he's going to be able to get it. If Shaun can get a good run through the bus stop here. Oh, he plants that thing beautifully through there. Opens the gap up even more, tracking it all the way out to the wall on exit.
That was scary.
I'll tell you, man, that another coat of paint on your car, I think, today in contact, buddy.
Also, we've on Swizzing's kind of issues falling down the road a little bit.
Yeah. All right. Let's see what's happening.
Easy to shoot. Easy to do.
You got about 4 laps of fuel
Out of
left.
the event. Looking for Andrus here. Andrus coming through the bus stop. Has dropped quite a bit. Now down to P10. Has lost quite a bit of distance to the lead drivers now. As we look at our next group, which would be the David Wing, the Climber Martino group. Robby Unser, what's happened to Robby here? We've lost sight of him. Robby, what
do you mean, what? I screwed up.
Robby holding down P9. Did you make a mistake there, Bubba?
No, I just went slow. Of course I made a mistake. Shit.
We have to rewind that. Okay, down to 1 minute and 29 remaining in our event here. We will get white flag next time by. Our leader comes by with the Wing Climber Martino combination here. These guys duking it out. Battling for that P6, P7, P8. We find in P5 Ryan Ostrich all by himself coming out NASCAR 2 here. Ready to head down that backstretch towards the bus stop. Moving ahead to Shaun Cole and Chris Ganarelli. This battle's still happening for P4 and P3. Aldous Putelli coming out of NASCAR 4 down the front straightaway. He's looking to try to gain some distance on Elvis Rankin, who is running really strong up front here, laying down a 133.746 on that last lap. Elvis coming in with a 134.
All right, Shaun, 1 minute to go. Keep it together. We'll be on the podium. We've got about 3 laps of fuel left. That last lap was at 134.72.
A stinker lap? Sure, we'll call it a stinker lap. Why not? Elvis's laps here.
The gap behind is now 1.7 seconds.
This heat one. That was a pretty nice time there on his lap 6 with a 133.373. An amazing time out here. Running very consistently. Elvis coming in with 33.2s, 33.4s. The 33.7, we'll call it a stinker lap for you there, Elvis. Aldous having a nice lap there on lap 5 with a 133.884. That's his best lap of the event so far. His times have now dropped into the 34s, hitting a 34.1, a 34.2, 34.5, and now back to a 34.2. So he's looking to improve those times. Running strong in this first event. Shaun Cole coming in with a 34.7 on that last lap. Oh, did you? Yeah, Elvis dropping 133.1. Elvis, what happened to you there?
Well done, Shaun. Great drive. That's a podium.
Oh, goodness. Nice job, Elvis, taking the win here for our first event. There, guys.
I had to block and scratch and claw to hold you off. Alright, so we are going to take 1.5 out of fuel.
So you're going to run how much?
I'm going to run 9.5. Should leave me with about a half a gallon at the end. unless our fuel mileage does something different. I finished with 1.9.
Are we gonna skip the warm up or?
A 5-minute warm-up. A 5-minute warm-up, drivers. It is green flag for warm-up. As soon as that switches over, stand by.
Thank you, John. I think it was only purely by the luck that that Chris also made a mistake on one that time. Otherwise, I gave up all the time. He should have been able to get by. I was already conceding in my mind. Tony, we're already into the racing mode. You missed it, buddy. Password was Daytona 24. But yeah, now we're down to the second race. We have a 5-minute break, and then we're going to run another 15-minute race for all the marbles. Inverted grid, I do believe, so that's going to put Mr. Elvis Rankin at the back after winning that race by a 15-second margin over me.
Yeah,
19 over me, 10 seconds over Oldest. So finishing order was Elvis Rankin, Oldest Putless. Shaun Cole in third. I don't know how that happened. Chris Generally fourth. Brian Oswald fifth. David Clymer, David Wing, Cameron Martino, Robby Unser, and Andres Listens, Joe Antonio. So, inverting the grid, it looks like Joe Antonio will be starting on the point.
Yep,
Andres
he sure will.
Robby Unser will be the top three. And I'll be starting all the way back, just in front of Elvis Rankin. Yeah, I'm loving the new format. It just means that... since we are kind of doing this new format, let's talk about it real quick while we do have a moment.
Sure.
But we do 2 hours, 20 minutes of qualifying, essentially, meaning strict rules. You go off, your lap does not count. So you need a perfect lap in that 2 hour, 20 second. And then we will take our random, Kevin always letting us know how many make it into the final. This week the number was 12. The magic number was 12. And we then do 2 heat races with an inverted grid on the second race. Oldest, no, I wouldn't go that far. What I did was I calmed down and I relaxed just enough to, no point in complaining once you're racing. Still, I mean, I guess it's me. I need to get better at my throttle application, and I need to get better at my turn-in precision. Those are 2 things that I need to work on. So, you heard Zach talking about never being afraid to learn more or see what you do. I know there are a few habits that I have. A lot of it stems from GT racing, I think, where you throw the car around a lot with intention. These cars do not respond well to the herky-jerky motion. So,
no, they don't.
Yeah, and I think that's a big part of it. And I think even in open-wheeled, they either a little more favorable. Like, there's so much grip that even if you herky-jerky, they don't respond. This car just does wrong things if you overdrive it. There is no version of overdriving this car that works out well, I think. But no,
there's definitely a rhythm to it.
Yeah, it is. But I still don't drive it well.
I've talked to.
It was actually a miracle that I finished that race.
Right.
Oh, I got a dog here. I'm gonna go tinkle. I'll be right back.
All right, sounds good.
What you got, buddy? I got one more race to do.
We got Robby Unser starting P3 tonight. Ooh, nice, Robby.
I'm telling you, man. Yep.
Only one way to go from there.
And that's up.
Right.
That's up, man.
Oh, Robby, you sound like me every Monday night when I get into our events.
Hey, I feel for you.
Hey, I can vouch for Kevin on that. I will say, Kevin Ford is the nicest guy, but he did almost kill me in an extreme race.
That was a little scary, wasn't it?
He did almost kill me from the lead in an hour and 15-minute race.
Right.
I don't envy you guys having to put me up front. It's not going to be good for you.
All
I can tell.
I just want to pass Shaun. I just want to wave to all the fans. I would just like to say as well, our crowds here at Daytona, they're doing a very bad job of social distancing,
I think they are way too close. And
COVID isn't real, so
I think we need to...
I was going to say exactly why. What are they going to catch? Fresh air?
Yeah, right.
Of course, as we know here in New Mexico, we've been the most locked down group of the whole freaking country.
Really?
It
Are
doesn't make a difference to me because I always stay inside, so
well,
it doesn't make a huge.
I heard for the next major release.
That's the end of the session. P10.
Yes.
I love it.
What's the?
if they
did
do, I
something
literally will cancel my subscription. That will be it. If they do that,
That
I'm
will
done.
be it.
That'll
That's right.
be
I'm
it.
done. That's
Out.
it. Right.
All the way out,
All the way out. Oh, that's funny.
along with driving to wherever they're from and give them
Right.
a piece of my mind in person.
Yeah, right, right.
I almost
that's
blew.
great.
I almost got my water temperature too low last.
Too low or high?
Too low. From just.
What do you
basing.
mean?
Well, I almost like it said on my dash. It said watt temp too low, and it was like.
That's too cold usually then.
Yeah, it's too cold. I don't know if that was.
And as soon as you took off, it changed, right?
Yeah, as soon as you take off, it's fine. I mean,
Yeah.
I had no problems the rest of the race.
All right, here we go.
Obviously wasn't tested.
All right, drivers, it's grid time. It's go time.
Kevin,
Let's
are there
get
any
set up
rules on
there
the
and get ready
starts?
for race 2. The only rule on the start here is going to be that the
So before
leader
I-
controls the start.
The
So as
attempt
you
is-
exit
Dude, I almost
NASCAR
did it. I was dead last,
the
and I
track
almost
begins to
passed the
flatten
whole
out there.
field
You
on the
may start at that point. Again, the leader controls the
On
start,
the deal.
and the start zone is between there and the...
Sean missed it.
Catch
Oh,
up to car number
That's
24.
good.
Sean, you missed the start.
I'll take my free row. Thank you very much.
Oh, Sean, how did you do that?
He was distracted with cuteness.
Yep. Oh, Max got you distracted.
He did, he
Oh,
did.
boy.
Yeah,
Oh,
You need to catch up to the guy ahead.
And what sucks is it was grid right when you stood up.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
We had 5
Oh,
minutes.
it was not. The 5 minutes had
Pretty
ended.
close, dude. I mean, you stood up.
It was probably like
and
30
it
seconds,
went.
and then they started.
Aw.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Are you guys green yet, or you just went by for the outlap?
No,
Yeah,
we're not
I
green.
mean,
Okay. Well, I'm gonna pull in behind. I should be able to catch up to somebody.
Can you get out on track?
No, it'll let
No,
me
it
go when you
makes
guys
him
go
wait.
green.
Oh, you'll catch me in like 2 laps.
the start.
I mean, you could always just commentate it with Kevin if you want.
Yeah, Sean's going the same way. I guess David missed it too.
Yep. No, I-
David Clymer missed. Oh,
No,
David
wait.
missed it too. Uh-oh.
The
Oh.
climber's right here. I see climber.
No,
All
wing.
right, David, we'll get him.
You guys have your own race.
That's
Like I
right.
said, Sean, commentator spot free on the job. Kevin needs a buddy.
This is great.
I made the race. I don't wanna commentate.
All right. Okay. Sean, let's take. Can we put your camera on most exciting, and then
I'm
we'll,
going out. What do you mean? I'm not. I am not.
Are
Can
you
you
serious?
Robbie's camera on most
You
exciting
are
pass?
going-
Invert
you
is going
are
to be a lot
still
of passes.
going out.
I am
love
not
it.
finishing last in this race.
I love it.
Oh fuck.
That
I literally
determination.
said when I came back, and when you left, the thing that I was most excited to do was pass Sean and wave to all the fans. That's literally was my only objective race.
Oh,
And then you ruined it.
I am very sorry to rob you.
I
of
guess I
that.
can just
That
go to
is
Robbie. Now
hilarious.
Robbie's just going to have to be my 5 minutes of fame, or 2 seconds of fame.
I really
It-
thought.
well,
5
you'll
minutes.
catch me in like the 3rd corner, so don't get too
All
excited.
right, is that your
about it.
prediction?
Well, dude, you've run against me enough. What do you think?
I'm going to say... let me think. I'm
Yeah,
gonna say it's gonna be the end
don't
of
hurt
the-
yourself.
The
What
end of
sucks
first
is
lap.
it's holding me in my pit stop.
Wait. There's no start rule, right, Kevin? There's no start rule?
Leader starts it.
Right, but for back here, I have no rule, right?
Well, you pass on
I
the
can go when I
right.
want.
Pass on the right, I believe.
Oh,
Oh,
no,
you can
no,
pass
don't do
on
that.
the right?
No,
you
I
can
don't know.
pass. You
I'm
can
not-
pass in the middle.
I'm not saying anything.
Yeah,
Debating,
I don't know what to do on that one, Elvis. I was gonna lay back and do y'all. At
I was
200.
gonna gun it and then go in the middle and try and just
Right.
I think
shoot the
once-
gap and pray.
You can't pass before the green drops. So the leader starts the race, but you cannot pass before they actually call green.
Actually, yes, that's true. That is correct. You are correct, Sean. You are an iRacing expert. I am not.
So as soon
I had to
as
think
the
it through,
green goes,
Are you ready? We don't have enough data for that.
Bye.
Green, green, green.
might drop me.
Oh, 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 oh!
Oh!
Oh, look, there's a car.
Uh-oh, we've got a driver down onto the apron there, right out of the start, making contact, and we're 3 wide. Shaun Cole coming out of the pits now.
Push now.
The driver behind, which was David Wang. He's coming out as well. Up front here, we have quite the gaggle with this reverse grid start. Chris Ganarelli trying to make some room here. Robby Unser right in the thick of it here.
Okay, Shaun, decent start. We can build something from here.
Right now, Joe Antonio still maintaining that lead as we head out of West Horseshoe. We are 3 wide now coming out of West Horseshoe.
Trying to avoid
a
climbers.
lot of contact there.
My bad,
Cameron
Robby.
Martino and Joe Antonio holding the spot now, locking up the brakes, going into the... Oh, no. Looks like we lost Chris. Robby Unser got spun around there. Going into turn 6. Robby trying to get things rolling again now. David Wang and Shaun Cole back up onto the banking. They may actually make time back into this race here.
Did you run into me, Elvis?
No. I was the one who
Cameron
turned
Martino is now taking over the lead here.
I was so focused
in that red, white, and black number 10.
I was so focused on...
Aim to win that t-shirt tonight. Cameron doing a great job out of NASCAR 4.
I was so focused on Climber's wreck and missing that, I didn't even know you were down there.
Joe Antonio maintaining the draft now, pulling up into the back end, getting within 5 car lengths now of Cameron as we enter turn 1. Shaun coming out of the bus stop now.
P9, Unser, behind is pitting.
Robby Unser pulling down onto pit road now.
My black flags.
Yeah. Well, give it a second. There it did. It should have got it clear now.
No, it's just holding me in the pits.
It's holding you in the pits for a penalty?
Yeah, it's okay.
It says it clear.
Andrew's had problems too.
Oh boy.
I'm sticking with you, David. Don't worry about it.
All right, our field coming out of the backs, out of the bus stop rather, up into NASCAR turn 3. Cameron Martino trying to maintain that lead now. Joe Antonio trying to close up on the leaders. Elvis Rankin side by side now. Coming down into the tri-oval here at Daytona. Very sketchy coming into that brake zone. Heavy lock up there out of Elvis Rankin, but a great job getting off the brakes, getting that car woed up and into that apex.
Sector 3 is 0.6 off the pace.
From P12 to P1 in a very short amount of time here in our second dual race this evening. Elvis Rankin showing his expertise in this car here. Just under 2 laps, getting it done, taking over P1 now from Joe Antonio, or from Cameron Martino rather. Joe Antonio now feeling the pressure. Aldous Pitelli now putting the pressure on Joe Antonio. Right behind Joe is David Clymer. Clymer making a big run back into this race here. Chris Ganarelli trying to get himself back into the race. Brian Ostrich hanging tough back here in P7. And then quite the battle back here between David Wang and Shaun Cole. We watch Shaun Cole on camera now coming through turn 1 of the NASCAR course, right into the draft. He will definitely get sucked up to him coming into the bus stop. He and David can work together here and try to break into some of that distance to the two drivers ahead of them.
Real well, Elvis. I think that's strongest against this guy.
That's because I X'd that lap. Infield's wrong.
Yeah, but I think he's actually in the same place.
Easy car on your left.
Cameron Martino getting right up onto the rear end of that number 1 car of Elvis Rankin. Elvis driving that Orion Racing
Nice one,
Team
Shaun.
machine
Nice
here
move, mate.
tonight in
P8.
our Hot Lap Hump Day Challenge competition. We do want to send a big thank you out to Ricmotech Racing Simulators for all of their support and everything that they do for this these groups of drivers every month, the third Wednesday of every month. They've been doing this for years, putting this event on, taking the time out of their busy schedule, and all their staff helping out with getting this put together. And unfortunately, with COVID now, we're not able to do our typical open house event at the Ricmotech facility there in Miami. Typically, we have drivers that are testing out the racing simulators there at Ricmotech at their facility there in Miami. Really exciting to have them competing with us each and every month.
The gap behind us now, 1.3 seconds.
The pandemic has come in. We've had to shut down that portion of our competition. Hope to get that back going again here soon. But in the meantime, we are still putting on our online competition, and great races at that as we watch Elvis Rankin and Cameron Martino, 2 veterans here on the iRacing simulator. Elvis coming on strong here in the last year and a half on iRacing, competing in the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Sports Car Series, and Classic Sprint Series, and the World Challenge over there, all 3 series. Elvis competes in. Cameron following Elvis down below the yellow line there. Elvis is doing everything he can to break that draft, but Cameron putting on a really strong run. Cameron going in a little deep there, though, into turn 1. There's the gap. There's the gap Elvis was looking for.
That's the fastest lap.
Let's see if Cameron can bring that slinky back his direction and reel that number 1 back in. But, man, I'll tell you, looking at the race here going on in the background for P3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, holy cow, Aldous Putelli, not a big distance between him and Joe Antonio. And just
ahead is now 1.5.
Ryan Austrin, David Ming. These guys putting on quite a show here tonight for round 2. Don Cole holding down P8. He's trying to get right back up onto the heels of Brian there to get that draft. That'll help him quite a bit to get sucked back up to them. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Robby, these guys getting linked back together here in the end of the race. Sorry to see that you're out of the competition. Who are you keeping your eyes on right now?
I was watching Shaun, and now I was up in front, but mostly Shaun. He seems to be going forward. Might get on to a couple of the guys. Yeah. Elvis
Yeah, watching Shaun coming into the bus stop here now. Ron, how's the car holding up for you? Still handling?
Yeah, it's still a little tough on the low speed corners getting off the corner. But, yeah, it's doing great.
That lap time was 1:35.07.
Tightening up here.
Whoa!
Joe Antonio now starting to reel in that P4 driver of David Clymer. He's gotten within about a second now of him. If he can catch up to him coming through the second half of the road course here at Daytona. Again, we're on the 2008 version of Daytona, which is the version that has, well, we'll just call it, you need Dramamine to race this course, pretty much. The bumps and the corners will certainly upset your stomach just a little bit here. I'll tell you what, it is a difficult course and certainly difficult to handle the Dallara P217 out here tonight. What an exciting car, great car to drive, really exciting to race here at Daytona. But boy, you add the undulation of the bumps to the surface of the track, it creates a whole different element of keeping this car underneath you when you're trying to get the throttle out of some of these corners. And David Clymer here in P4. Uh-oh.
I don't know how you didn't get a slowdown that last time. I'm just bombing it every time now.
Yeah, Elvis saying that he has bombed the bus stop, although it still seems to be intact.
On your left.
Cameron Martino really trying to put a strong move now on Elvis. made that little mistake the last lap coming into turn 1, and
Awesome.
has
Well done.
not seemed
P7.
to reel him back in, although it is
Okay,
a little
Shaun,
bit
that's good
closer gap
consistency.
now.
Keep it up.
Coming out of International Horseshoe here, we'll see if he has the opportunity to make up that distance. Now back to P3, Aldous Butelli, who's been really strong in our competitions here the last 3 or 4 months. She's had a great showing in November. Great to have him back with us here in February of 2021 for this Ricmotech Hotlap Humpday Challenge. Big thanks to Frank Rico and all his staff once again for putting this event on each and every month. The third Wednesday of every month, you can join us right here with Shaun Cole on the Simpit show. Great to have Shaun out every month. He takes time out of his busy schedule to come out here and get frustrated.
The gap to off strike behind is increasing. It's now
as we
1.2
watch some of these top dog drivers out here just putting on quite a show. Elvis Rankin having another successful event. As always, great to see him out here putting on a great presentation in that Orion Racing team. Don Cole doing a great job here, man. He's found himself getting around Brian Ostrich as he dumps that apex down in there, really making a great move and a great gap there coming out of the bus stop. Don pulling a good 4 or 5 car length distance now over Brian. The last thing he wanted to see is he did not want to lose any more distance to those drivers in front. Don really putting on a great drive here this evening.
Campbell behind you.
After calling this machine quite the, how did he phrase it exactly,
Kazoo.
Robby? Kazoo.
Kazoo, yeah.
A kazoo. My goodness. The kazoo is getting it done here tonight. That number 39 of Simpit Racing Machine. Boy, Brian putting a lot of pressure on Shaun there coming through International Horseshoe. Right up on the back end. Brian says, I am not losing that draft, Shaun. I don't care what you do out there. I'm going to hang tight with you. As Shaun tries to reel in the next 2 drivers in front of him, as we only have exactly 3 minutes remaining. 3 minutes remaining in our event here this evening.
2 laps at the stripe, Campbell.
Yeah, there should be 2 laps at the stripe. David Wayne having a good run here in this second event. Holding down P9. P8, Brian Ostrich, Shaun Cole holding down P7, Chris Ganarelli in P6 here tonight as he's looking to put some pressure on Joe Antonio. Chris really closing that gap, getting that distance, gets a good run through the bus stop. He will get that draft this time by on Joa to take over P5. We'll see how that works out there for Chris. David Clymer making a good run in P4 tonight. Great to see David up there in the top 5. Cameron Martino has really lost some of that distance now to Elvis Rankin. There's a good 25 car length distance between the 2 of them now.
We're social distancing.
Oh, here we go. Here's that move being made now on Chris Ganarelli. He gets it done. Right up against the back end of Joe Antonio. He actually had to back off, give Jonah that position back. So now Chris holding down P6 once again, looking to take advantage of Joa and use that draft to his advantage as they come through that kink and start moving down into the apex here of the West Horseshoe, rather. Taking a look back here at Shaun Cole. Still trying to break that gap to Brian Ostrich. Brian really holding on to the coattails here of Shaun and that Simpit Racing Machine. Oh no, what's happened here? Shaun Cole gets another spot to his favor here as Chris Ganarelli has a little bit of an issue coming out of turn 6. Brian Ostrich and Shaun making a move on him there now. That puts Shaun up to P7.
Last lap.
And white flag now out for that number 1 car of Elvis Rankin, that Orion Racing Machine, putting on quite a show here tonight. Joe Antonio's got quite a gap now.
Strike behind is now 0.8.
Behind him, Shaun Cole. Oh, Shaun's going to move up to P6 once he hits that stripe.
Good run.
Just ignore him, he'll go away.
Final lap here for race
6th
2.
place. 1 more to go. This is the last lap of
edition
fuel.
of the Hotlap Humpday Challenge. Elvis Rankin looking to win one more of those Ricmotech Racing Simulator t-shirts.
In this lap.
I understand he's going to have red and black alternating co-hangers for his Ricmotech shirts.
Actually, just throw them in a drawer.
Actually, he just throws them in the drawer, he says. Hopefully you take a little bit better.
Go along to the collection.
Now, we don't want to hear about that Ricmotech logo getting wrinkled now. Frank would appreciate that. Thank you.
I thought you were donating them to the homeless at this point.
That's right. You know, we do have homeless sim drivers out there.
My grandpa has asked for one, so I've had family members ask for one.
That's true. I have heard that you have been handing your winnings out to the family abode.
Well, this will be another one.
All right, here we go as we watch Elvis Rankin coming out of turn 4. Weaving back and forth and heading down to another win here in that Hotlap Humpday Challenge. A big victory for Elvis Rankin in that Orion Racing Team machine. He's going to come away with that Ricmotech Racing Simulators t-shirt. What a performance as we watch him do the donuts there. And Cameron Martino pulling right up to the front of him there. A big congratulations to the two as Elvis puts his nose right against Cameron Martino there and starts backing him up, lighting those tires up. What an event here we had this evening. All right, I'm going to jump in sim here. Shaun, I'll let you talk to your viewers out there. I'm going to sign off to everybody. And Shaun, Elvis Rankin.
Good job, Brian.
Those tires there at turn.
Okay. Ah, that was fun.
Get the donuts.
We had a good run.
Here, let's go watch Elvis's donuts. Where are you? There you are. There he is. Yeah, it was fun. That was a good fun run despite missing the start. And there's Elvis Rankin coming to the line for the win again. Good job, Elvis.
Thank you.
And there's the burnout. You can see it's not the best donut machine in the world.
It's not bad though.
Oh, I like the nose-to-nose burnout.
Yeah, what a great job tonight, man. We want to thank everybody for coming back, coming by. And, well, we're getting thank yous from Chris Vanarelli inside the sim there. Thanks to Robby Unser. Chris, thanking everybody. We do appreciate them.
Thanks, Chris.
Yeah, thank you, Chris. Yeah, what a great run tonight, Shaun. That was a lot of fun. I think we had quite a challenge, if you will. That really was capitalized tonight, wasn't it, Shaun?
Yeah, that was definitely a tough car. I'm not going to say car track combo.
Thanks for the host and everything, guys.
Always difficult. Yeah, it was really, it's one of those cars that you are really challenged because it's not just whether
appreciate you coming out, Cameron.
But can you stay within the boundaries of the car? And it is a difficult car to do that with. So it makes for a different type of racing in its own way because you could be doing really well and one false move can just end it all. So you're always weighing. It's almost like in rally racing, you're always weighing that decision between pushing too hard, which might mean like not just being, you could be fast or you could die, or not finish. Versus being a little conservative and knowing that you might not win the thing, but you're going to place. And that's how I feel like driving this car. It's like every time I want to push it, I feel like I can move up and make ground. But one move and I'm in the wall or backward on the track. So it was like, well, wait, do you really want to push and end up there? Or do you want to take it down a notch and try to just make sure you bring it home and let others make those mistakes? And the other thing is because it's such an easy car to make a mistake, I'd say that even the contact was probably not so much contact like you'd find in other racing, but contact as a result of like a mistake in driving more than a decision mistake. Where the car, it's like it's just so hard for me to get the most out of it. Hey, Terry.
Yeah, I think that was a great lesson tonight in a lot of ways for drivers that may be using the official side of iRacing service, and you want to try out a car. I've always recommended to new drivers to the service to spend some time in that vehicle because it can be frustrating running in some of the official races, especially if you're new to iRacing, because you're competing against other drivers at your skill level. And what better way to advance out of that and get into some of the better class or better higher I-rating races where the drivers are more skilled, they have a better racecraft about them, is to put the seat time in and to get the time in the car. And here's an example tonight, Shaun, where you came in, the car was not a car that really fit your driving style. It wasn't something that you, really could jump in and feel like you were at home with right away. So therefore, your typical limit of a lap, you had to shy away from that quite a bit in order to just have a consistent finish in the actual race.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, and so, a lesson to other sim drivers out there competing in other events, sometimes it's not just about the win. Especially if you're competing in a championship or you're running in a league out there, you have to look at the big picture. If you're competing in the official series on iRacing and you're going after a particular official championship, always look at the big picture. It can make a huge difference, and Shaun did that tonight. Great example.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Yeah, great stuff.
All right. Well, what do you know? I'm bushed.
Yeah, man.
I'm shot.
Hey, you guys wore me out. And all I did was sit here and run my damn mouth.
So, I don't know if you guys know your schedule with the whole Road to Indy. Do we know if next month we're...
Let's see. I believe we will wrap up the week before our next hot lap. So
our next hot lap, we should be on Wednesday.
We should be on Wednesday. Yep, exactly.
Oh, look at the pretty dog.
Yep. Our actual Hot Lap Hump Day will be on Hump Day for March as we move into the spring and hopefully warmer weather. I'm over this Arctic blast that our entire Midwest has had here. I love cold weather. I'll take it over hot weather any day of the month, but I will tell you, being under 0 degrees for 5 days in a row was a little more than I care to enjoy.
Oh, no doubt. Oldest, I gotta admit, on that second race coming from, I was not even thinking, I was just hoping I didn't cut so bad I got a slow down. But I just, on the second race, I wasn't even concerned about it. On the first race, I will admit, I was trying to be clean, but I think I got 6 or 7 cuts on the first race. Even trying to do it right, it was just really hard to navigate through there. And then it's one of those things like Spa from a couple of years ago. I think that's what Zach was talking about earlier. Then you're in this decision. The game's not going to kill you or penalize you for it. It's just going to keep giving you that X. And it's so do you stop cutting? Or do you continue getting faster? Yeah, Robby's not
one lap without an X, and that was with the 0X.
Yeah, it could be done clean, but it was all too easy to just cut it.
The curbing on this track, it's just, you barely touch it, bam, you get one. It's come on, man.
Yeah, it's very difficult on this version, especially the boss stop exit.
I know no one uses the Legacy course anymore, but, still, if that's how you guys ran, and if you guys ran 24s on that,
yeah, but you know what? It's something. This car is so stiff that the bumpiness just causes it to flip itself around. Like when I say that, I mean the stiffness and the bumpiness combined makes it so the car literally switches from understeer to oversteer all the time. Right. So it's really hard to get a handle on it. But if you took the old Corvette Daytona prototype here, it didn't mind the bounciness in the same way, and you could actually drive the car quite competently. And the bumps were always fun. I always enjoyed the bumps, actually. It was never whereas today it was the bumps. It's it seemed like every bump was in the wrong spot. Right.
Hey, I want to say hi to Terry here that's been writing in our chat. Great to have you with us. And, we hope to see you on iRacing. I'm trying to understand your first message. Looks like you just built, or you need to get a computer, or you just built a super fast computer.
But he's built the fastest sim racing in Idaho.
Oh, gotcha. I love it. Oh, that's great. Well, man, we look forward to having you on iRacing, and be sure to join us for our Hotlap Hump Day. We open it to everybody, so come on out and have some fun with us.
Absolutely. All right, well, I am going to bring this stream to a close, and I'm going to get out of my rig and stretch the legs. I'm going to let Robby go get that beer and get packing. Good luck, have fun on your snowmobiling.
Yeah, Robby,
adventure.
enjoy that snow. Yeah, you bet.
Alrighty, well, had fun, and yeah, we'll see you guys in a month.
Yeah, exactly. Robby, thanks for joining us,
Same
buddy.
bat
Do
time.
appreciate
Well,
it.
no,
Elvis,
no.
thanks for coming up into the room. And Frank, always a pleasure, buddy. Thanks for putting this on for us, man. It's awesome time every month. It's just a great thing to be a part of, and we do appreciate everything you guys do putting this on. All right, well, I'm out of here as well. Robby, we'll see you guys in March. Shaun, sayonara, buddy. We'll let you round things out here.
Guys. All right. Andrus, that's a very good question. Purely for the fun, I suppose. I don't know. I maybe I'll bring that up with the guys. That's relevant if you think about it.
Thank you.
There you go, Terry. That'll be a great
Good job,
combination.
Elvis. I'll talk to you later.
Absolutely, Elvis. Yeah, that's great.
Robby. So, yep, I'm going to bring this one to a close. Terry, if you have any questions, or if you just type in !Discord, it'll let you know where our Discord channel is, and you can get in there and probably meet some of the guys and hang out and come racing with us in the future. Other than that, if you ever have any questions, you can always email me, Shaun, SHAUN @thesimpit.com. Andrus, same thing. Maybe we should take that question to the guys. I don't know. I think they're just looking for the combination that makes it the most fun for everybody out there. And you're very welcome for that, Terry. Thank you as well. Thank you for saying it. So that is going to do it, you guys. I'll be back. Where are we? This is Thursday. Tomorrow night we should be back. Well, tomorrow morning I'll be live right here on this channel with the pit stop tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. And then tomorrow night we have our Oval Series. Saturday we've got the Patron Appreciation Practice Race. I get to race in that one. And then Sunday, of course, we've got our GTE Road Racing League, followed by Tuesday Night Mustangs. That's what we got coming up. In addition, we are working on our McLaren GT3 wheel rim review. That is coming along nicely. You should have that out in the next few days. And stay tuned for more. That's going to do it. Thank you for watching. This is the Simpit. I'm Shaun Cole, and I'll see you on the track.